This episode of this podcast is brought to you in part by Lisa. The Lisa mattress is the key to a quality night's sleep designed for body contouring and pressure relief for all types of sleepers. It's loved by more than 300,000 happy sleepers and backed by more than 12,000 five-star reviews. Right now, you can get $150 off the Lisa mattress plus a free pillow at lisa.com/bombcast and enter the promo code BOMBCAST at checkout. This is Lisa's best offer at leesa.com/bombcast, promo code BOMBCAST.
Hey, I see a slider going up down there. I think that means I can talk. It's the Giant Bombcast. Hello. It's December 4th. It's Tuesday. It's 2018.
Yes.
We are in it.
Oh, we are in it. We are in 2018
to win it.
Yeah, we're so in it. We're almost out of it.
We are so in it. We moved the podcast up an hour.
That's right.
Is this,
Get it done early.
this one is
so we can get back to it.
This one is live again, right?
Uh-huh.
We're just gonna put this one up.
Yeah.
What are we doing? We said what, 10 o'clock on Tuesday. We're putting this up.
Yes, I believe
Okay.
that's right.
Yeah.
So by the time you hear this
Well,
recording,
maybe like a little after 10.
We
just
should
like
start a
few
little
minutes.
later to make it seem real live.
Yeah.
16-ish.
Ooh, that's a good idea. We
Yeah.
should do
that
that.
is
Yeah.
Smart.
smart.
Wow.
You'll edit that part.
Yeah,
out.
we're not. This is we're not. Oh, wait, did we start?
This is normally my quiet time. I don't know what you guys are doing here.
Yeah,
No,
it's
just
so
sit
funny.
here.
Like when you guys told me, when you told everybody you're just going to do it live, it's good. I mean, it works. I think most people think you do it live, but being here,
It's mostly for the people. I mean, you're kind of blowing it for everyone here who thinks that it does go out live because it makes them make fewer mistakes when we're recording it. So,
I try to make more mistakes on
take.
purpose.
But you guys can edit the show?
oh no, definitely cannot.
there's no net here.
Still can't.
You
Ben.
just said we're going to edit that part out at the beginning.
Just don't.
that's a Beastcast terminology
Okay.
for
You crazy New
Yeah.
York.
So
still no cussing.
That's just
Okay.
just legacy stuff.
by the time it gets to East Coast time, stuff has changed.
Okay.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
the way time works.
It's lost in the mountains.
Yeah, it airs everywhere, live everywhere, but on the West Coast, where you have to watch 60 minutes later.
I'm just kidding, everyone. This is definitely live.
All right, edit point here, and
Hang on.
all right, wait, clap. 3, 2.
Hey, it's Tuesday. Hello.
Hi.
Hi.
I put headphones on.
Thank you, Dan.
Nice.
Like, oh, it's a-
Finally.
I can hear my
it's a
own voice.
Professional move.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can hear it. Like I talk
Yeah.
into this, and it comes out.
Now,
Is it
now you
weird?
know
Yeah.
if you're near the microphone or not.
That's
It's
awesome.
important
That seems
stuff. It's,
seems handy.
Also,
it can be.
I gotta say, your beard is really.
Is it?
That's
coming
that's
in.
it.
Do you want me to
That's-
rub it against the microphone?
That's at least like level 4 growth, I think.
I think
tier
so.
4.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't have any pomade.
No, you haven't been drinking the hair tonic.
It's a
Yeah.
tier 4 operator.
Yeah.
He's a tier 4 game of the year operator.
Yep.
now.
I'm just using shitty CVS razors that make
Do
my
they
neck
have-
bleed first thing in the morning.
they have-
Oh God.
Don't press down on it.
Don't
Light
go
Yeah.
touch.
sideways. Don't go
The
sideways.
key is a light touch.
Oh really?
Yeah, don't press down on it.
Oh okay.
Did biotin exist in the Old West? Could you get that?
what is
like,
biotin?
Like get your nails and hair growing? Like,
Wait,
Oh, yeah.
is that real?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Does it actually work, or is it like some kind of...
Fucking, I don't know.
It's like supposed to make your hair thicker and your nails thick.
Okay.
Like, it's
Yeah.
not like
Ew,
nail
why would
porn.
who
Worked-
wants thick
worked
nails?
for me.
Thick nails for
Or like healthy, you know, if you have like nail problems, you take it to
Who
make them
wants
healthy.
How would you open
nails?
soda?
I want
Nails.
no nails. I want nubs on my fingers.
Oh,
I want just skin.
Ah,
Stop it.
Now,
I mean
edit
that
part
can
out.
probably be arranged.
Oh, no, thank
Yeah.
Do
you.
you think is there such a thing as elective fingernail removal?
I want to be
someone's
declawed.
done it.
There's
right?
that-
no.
They do it to cats. They can do it to me.
Remember that QTE in God of War 3 where you rip the
Stop.
Titan's fingernail off? That part's great.
We could stop.
We should.
It's a good scene. It's a good game.
Should. Now I'm awake.
It's like nose torque for your mind.
Okay, now I'm
It's
into
just
that.
cocaine.
Is it too late to rename this podcast
Yeah.
Brain Torque?
Brain torque. Mind torque.
Okay.
Big news cycle.
Yes. Indeed. Yeah, we're up to our eyeballs in Game of the Year production right now.
Yeah.
So
It's been fun.
it's good.
Yeah. I think everything we record from here on out is where it has the potential to get.
It's gonna go off the
Not
rails.
fun.
Yeah.
We all agreed on what the game of the year is, though, right?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
We're good.
Oh,
Yeah, we
yeah.
figured that out pretty early on in
We
those
did that
podcasts.
first.
Yeah.
We're actually working backwards this time.
Yeah.
That's right. But has not left a lot of time for playing games.
Yeah, but games
Or all the
have continued
games
to
that are
come
getting
out.
played are for that, pretty much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Except for
Time Warpers, which I'm playing all the time. I might be playing it right now. I don't remember if I left my computer on or not.
that sounds okay.
Yeah.
Dan,
Yes.
Just Cause 4 is coming out.
Yeah.
It is out. Came out.
Is it out now?
I
I
think
got,
it's out.
I got it a couple
It is-
days
I
ago.
think it's out today. Yeah.
I,
Pretty sure
I had a
it's-
moment yesterday where I realized it was December. That's my concept of time right now.
That's where we're at for sure.
Yeah, so I have no idea if that game's out right now. I
believe
played
it is.
Okay, I played a couple hours of it.
Okay.
It's what you think that game is. Although the customization stuff you can do with the grapple thing and like adding balloons and all that, like that's more fun than I expected. Like when people told me,
what is that?
Is that like the new hook this time around?
no, you still have that hook, and it still like tethers things and does all that stuff. I didn't. Which one of us meant to do a joke there? I'm very tired.
Neither.
Jesus.
Is the tether stuff new?
No,
I
so
thought 3 had some of that, right?
3 had the tether thing, and you could make them go together.
I thought like the Just Cause 2 multiplayer had the tether thing in it, didn't it?
did.
that like
yeah,
weird
that was a
fan
fan
thing?
mod.
around
That was a
after
fan mod.
3?
Two-
That was all made by fans.
Yeah.
That was never an official thing. So they
Right.
made it themselves for 3.
Yeah,
Okay, so
this one you've got the tether, and you got the thing that can make 2 things go together, but you can also set all these different loadouts. So like, oh, okay, my loadout A, automatically after I connect a tether, it has a balloon attached, and you can say high force, medium force, or low force. And then you can also add modifiers for this thing happens if I tap up, this thing happens if I hold up, which those can be like boosters. Which, if you remember in the last one, they had those booster grenades, so I could like throw it on you, and then it would and you'd fly around all funny.
yeah.
Now you can activate that how you want. So like if you find a car or whatever, you can put a bunch of tethers on it, and if you have the loadout set to tap up, you can have it like activate all the boosters right then, or after a balloon inflates, so it's like going up in the air, and then you have it rocket off, or you can have 2 helicopters tethered together, and then have a bunch of booster shit like happen.
Okay.
It's
Is
like,
there a storyline justification for why you would do any of that stuff? Do they try to be like,
I had
hey,
a
man,
mission.
you need to Fulton this stuff, or you need to...
Weather is a thing. The bad guy, I think, likes weather and wants to make tornadoes, and so there are balloons.
Weather
There's
balloons
such a thing
are-
called a weather
okay,
balloon.
Okay, no, that's enough of a fucking
There you
through
go.
line for me.
Remember in Twister, they had that thing filled with all the metal balls and
Yes.
stuff? That's
Yeah.
probably...
How can you forget?
Yeah, I don't know if that plays into it, but yeah, weather balloons are probably a thing.
So have you tethered yourself to a balloon and see how high you can go up?
I have tethered a bunch of balloons to a tank, and then I have grappled myself up to the floating balloon tank in the sky and activated boosters and flown around all crazy, and it was very funny.
Okay.
The game just seems like a big sandbox for making stupid, funny things happen and then
Just
explode.
sounds like Gary's mod at this
yeah.
point. Like
Yeah.
it just sounds like it, but there's still a video game, right? There's still
Yeah, there's missions. Like the missions I've done so far have been very much just like what you would expect from that game.
But like, can you use all of that stuff to great effect to solve those missions in really stupid ways?
I mean,
or is it really?
Yeah, like I did a mission not too long ago where it's one of those things where you're like in stunt position on top of a car, and a bunch of jeeps and motorcycles and cars are coming after you, and it's just like, well, you two are together and now attached to a high force balloon, so you're not a problem anymore.
That sounds pretty good.
And do you have infinite balloons and tethers?
Right now, and I'm at the very beginning of the game, I can do like 10 tethers at once and as many like boosters and shit.
and that's like
to
at
all that.
once. So like once you kind of contract them or whatever, you got 10 more.
Yeah.
Or okay.
Instantly. It's big on giving you all these silly tools and not doing anything to really restrain you.
Great. Okay. That sounds like a good. That sounds way better than 3.
Yeah, I'm having fun so far, but it's very early on. My concerns are that like the missions will get kind of like, it's like boring, I guess. But I'm just gonna make my own fun with that game.
Looking at the achievements, you're toppling another small Banana Republic dictator.
You're on some island or something, and there's a bad guy, and he likes tornadoes. I don't know.
Regime change, tornado style.
Yeah.
I guess my concern is performance. The last one was not running very well.
So I'm playing on a standard PS4, and I have not had frame rate issues, but there are things where it's like, especially as you're sending things into the sky, like as it disappears into the horizon, like the balloons will kind of checkerboard out before
it's
the
like
like
draw
tank
distance?
or whatever. Yeah, draw distance stuff, and like I wouldn't say it's amazing looking, but at least it's been running, because
Have
3
you-
had all sorts of issues.
3 was almost unplayable.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
explosions and everything, all, like when it's really on fire, seems to hold up.
That stuff's been fine so far, but also the stuff I've been blowing up are like little generators and some radio towers, but nothing like, city-size, satellite dishes or
Okay.
anything yet. So things remain to
see.
be seen, but so far, this is kind of a...
So far, so good.
I think I mentioned on one of the Game of the Year things that like... after Red Dead and the complaints I had about that and kind of just how slow and tedious a lot of that was, this is just a video game of an open world, and it feels real good to get around this way.
This is still published by Square, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Man.
For now.
Imagine if IO were still at Square and they could do a crossover stuff, say with Hitman, and you have to assassinate Rico Rodriguez because he's a maniac running around putting balloons on him.
How are you going to assassinate him? He could just fly away at any moment.
That's what
47 could find a
has
way.
to figure out.
The most elusive of targets.
Yes, that would be fantastic.
That'd be fun.
Your mission, this maniac who's just putting balloons and
Tethering
rockets
shit.
on everything.
It seems fun.
And then you could assassinate, Final Fantasy characters.
Sure,
And
yeah.
Yes,
Someone
man.
you
has
have to take out Sephiroth.
Yeah.
Kind of like Hitman Smash Brothers style. Just here's all the.
Yes, but imagine
You're like retcon, like you're just like, well, we have to save Eris, and you're gonna do it with a sniper rifle from across.
But no, you're not. No, you are Eris in that scene.
You've killed Eris yourself, and you've disguised yourself as her.
Yeah. And you kill him with his
He's coming down with the sword. You just toss a duck behind him.
Yeah. Achievement for killing him with his own sword.
Somebody dress up 47 in those pink robes, please.
That would be fantastic.
Yeah. I hope that game's writing is better than it seems like you think it is so far, because 3 was just dull.
I mean, this seems to be the same thing.
That's kind of a bummer. People don't seem to remember, but these games were so fucking cheesy and self-aware the first couple.
Yeah.
Two more than
I've
one,
said it,
like
yeah,
one,
two especially. I've said it numerous times, but they feel like a made for USA movie.
For sure.
Like,
God, 2 ending with that part where you're riding on the
Yeah.
nukes, fighting the dictator. It's so good. It's like peak flashy American.
yeah, totally. And the
badass.
characters are such cliches.
Yeah.
Like your handler was like this cigar chomping, all American ex CIA guy, and Rico was just one wisecrack after another.
Just commando.
Yeah. But whatever. If the sandbox physicsy stuff is good, that's probably good enough.
Like the hearing this, what you're saying about your capabilities and stuff like that. Like if the missions are designed in an open enough way, it almost becomes like, or you can almost envision it becoming like this Banjo-Kazooie nuts and bolts thing of hey, you've got a billion different ways to strap balloons to a thing and boosters and kind of make a half-assed vehicle, even though it's technically already a vehicle.
You could make a Jeep a plane.
Yeah,
It wouldn't control great.
Yeah, but I
get
want
somewhere.
I want to take a tank, put it in the air, have it go towards something I need to blow up, and then get in the tank while it's in the air, and then shoot the the thing from the tank.
That is how they teach you the boosters. Is you're sneaking onto this a government army area with these boats, these warships, and it's we need to shoot this movie. So why don't we just steal their stuff and make that blow up, and that'll be our shot. And so they have you put a bunch of tethers on the back of the speedboat and activate them and have it drive into the side of a warship and explode. So you can definitely drive vehicles around through force of boosters.
Nice.
Yeah.
Is everything still color-coded red? That
Oh
blows
yeah,
up?
yeah.
Is chaos still a currency?
I haven't seen them call it chaos, but there is a meter that fills up, and
right.
you get these. There's this whole map thing where you're pushing these squads forward, and you've got a front line as you take over.
Okay.
So that I'm
That's new.
starting to creep into. That seems new.
Okay,
Yeah.
that sounds cool.
Yeah.
Are you still doing the? I forget what they had a name for it, where you use the grappling hook and your parachute to kind of whip yourself around.
Oh yeah, it's a constant just cycle of grapple, parachute, wingsuit, grapple,
I
parachute.
never got good at that.
Yeah, so that's what I was going to ask. Does it feel any better?
I never had an issue with that.
Okay.
Yeah,
That's right. Yeah, the wingsuit was not much fun, was it?
That loop of trying to whip yourself forward and do the
And basically grappling the ground to pull
Yeah.
yourself.
Yeah.
I never
used to
got
it,
good
but
at it.
It was definitely a thing that it took a while to get the
There's
right
terrain
feel.
where it's tough to get your momentum, and you kind of feel like you're when do I get started here? But most of the time, you can kind of get into a rhythm.
Okay. Can you just put rockets on yourself?
Don't think so.
A little bit of an oversight, maybe.
Can I grapple myself to a barrel, put a booster on the barrel?
Yeah, I believe that would work.
Okay.
You could put 10 boosters on the barrel and fly through the sky.
Yeah, then I'll just do that.
Can you put enough boosters on the ground to move the Earth?
Don't think you can do that. No.
Boo.
Maybe you just need more boosters.
What if you put enough boosters on the Earth and you were able to? That's how you slow down time.
That's right.
Slow
You
down time mechanic.
spin the Earth backwards and everything goes back in
Rewind
time.
time.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's how it works.
Hit undocumented feature.
Yep. How you doing, Abby?
I'm good.
Sitting down there.
Yeah,
at the end of the
enjoying
table?
the talk of just cause. I
hanging
know
out.
it's
Just
just cause, but it'll always be just cause.
Yeah, good. What have you been up to?
Game of the year.
Oh, well,
I
yeah.
feel like I'm
Besides that.
ill-equipped to answer
Like
anything
in your
right
off
now.
time, what have you been playing?
Mostly Red Dead.
Yeah.
It's a lot of Red Dead and Call of Duty multiplayer.
Okay.
Yeah.
Been online with your horsey?
Yes, I have been doing Red Dead Online, and
Okay.
it is bad, But
Okay.
Oh.
I think it's one of those things where it will get good eventually, probably. I think it's going to be a GTA 5 thing where right now there's nothing to do. And then in maybe 6 months, there will be more to do. And then I'm sure it'll continue to add more. And hopefully less clunky ways than GTA 5 was, because that got pretty kind of bogged down with just like a lot of different stuff. But we'll see. I don't know. Right now, it's like the economy seems really busted.
Yeah, I just saw a story that they said they're
Yeah.
going to rebalance stuff.
Like, you're very poor, and it seems like there's a lot of stuff that you get the sort of like little gold for, like the gold that you pay real money for. But that stuff is so expensive that like I'm never going to earn enough for the things that I want, and there doesn't seem to be an equivalent version of the like earnable money.
They said the thing it says at the beginning is you can use the gold to buy those items early. Like if you
Okay.
hit the level where they unlock for like regular purchase, then you can use the
I
fake.
see.
You can use the fake
But
money
even
instead of the real
still,
money.
it's like I don't want to wait till level
But yeah,
44
totally.
to get a pair of overalls. Like I want to have like my character look the way I want to look now, because that's the appeal of this game for me. It's also like a lot of what's fun about Red Dead Redemption 2 is like wandering around and like feeling like you're in this like real lived-in world. And like discovering like, oh my gosh, I ran into this weird stranger, or like I saw this weird thing. And like I would love to be able to do that with my friends, but this world feels very barren. It doesn't feel like it's alive. And I think it's because they're like, well, we want the people to populate it.
Yeah, like there's like it feels like there's like a 10th as many NPCs in this as there are in
Yeah.
the single player game. Like you go to Saint Denis and there's like 2 people per block or something like that. It just
Right.
feels weirdly like it's like a ghost town.
Yeah, totally. And it's I wouldn't even mind that so much if there was like stuff to stumble on, but there really isn't. So I was mostly just going in and doing like quick missions just to get money. And it's like kind of fun with friends, but also it feels like not really a full thing yet.
What is there to do? Like I found Bonnie McFarlane at the McFarlane
Yeah.
Ranch, who's like one of the first characters you meet in the first Red Dead, which is kind
Right.
of cool, but like
Yeah, I saw Bonnie too, and then her
She's
thing glitched
apparently-
out, and we didn't actually get to do the mission.
apparently she's had a billion wagons stolen because she sent me out like to retrieve like 3 different wagons. It's like,
sounds like
these
Bonnie.
missions are kind of
Yeah, it's
the
like
same thing over and over.
Yeah, that was actually a little frustrating too, because we were doing the quick match stuff, which is like I don't think that will actually affect my honor or like my storyline because I haven't done those on my own yet. But it was just like putting us into sort of other people's quick missions. But we got a lot of the same ones again and again.
Oh, can you do them over and over?
I guess so.
Okay.
I mean, we were like hopping into other people's things because you have to like fill out, because there are like usually
Yeah.
4 people per thing, so you have to like fill out the number of people.
Yeah, like the story missions, are all multiplayer, and I
Right.
discovered yesterday do not play that game with randos because they're all sociopaths.
Yeah,
Like-
I mean,
like they will make the worst decisions about everything they possibly can.
this is true. I've been playing with Pat Gill, but we still have to like pair up with 2 more
Yeah,
people.
yeah.
So it's like we're gonna be with strangers either way,
Yeah.
and it's kind of funny to be like, oh, look at this weird person somebody made, or like the like second tier I think DLC comes with like an online outfit. So it's like, oh, everyone is wearing the exact same outfit right now,
It
which
is
is
fun
like
seeing
kind of
all the
funny.
different characters because that is a good character creator. But
Yeah,
so-
So
totally.
they did force you into filling out the other 2 people. You
Yeah,
can't
so-
just
so-
do it with 2.
So the mission I did yesterday was I met a sheriff and he was like the most notorious con man in the state escaped yesterday. Please go get him. And you start it, and then it like puts you into matchmaking.
You have
Yeah.
to.
Yeah, and in my case, it was 3 randos. So you go have a firefight, you find the guy, you hog tie him, but when you tie him up, it goes to a cutscene, and he's like, hey, what if you take my hat
Oh,
and
yeah,
put it on
this
that
guy.
dead guy and turn him in instead, and then
Yeah.
I'll pay you. And then it goes to a vote.
Yeah,
like,
it's
it
kind of
literally
neat
stops
everyone
and it's
votes.
like vote yes or no. Of course, like 3 yeses and my no.
Right.
That's
And I
good.
Because
think-
it says straight up like this action will impact your honor.
Yeah.
But I think that if, at least for me, because I'm like hopping into other people's things, I don't think it's been affecting my honor, which is like,
Oh,
So
if
that's
you-
even worse because that means you can just go in and fuck up someone else's
Sure,
honor by
right.
voting
Like,
no
I
on
want
everything.
money.
And, yeah.
Yes. It also seems like a thing where I think what it does, I didn't confirm this is what Pat told me, so I assume he saw it, but I think if you get a split vote of like 2 and 2, it'll always revert to the lower honor option.
Did wait to the losing honor or to like when
To
you say
losing
lower?
honor,
Oh,
yeah.
wow. Like you're a scoundrel.
Yes.
And it's a bummer because I think it works the same as in the single player, where if the higher your honor, the cheaper stuff is in the stores,
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
which is the thing
Yeah.
you want in that thing. Is
Right.
for
Also,
stuff to
the
be
thing,
cheaper.
the thing that they probably would love for people to pay real money for. So,
Yeah.
but yeah,
Yeah.
they've been out there saying, I think they've been out there saying like, hey, we are taking all feedback about the economy very seriously,
Yeah, let me-
and
let me
all that sort of stuff. Like, 'cause that's been kind of blowing up for the past couple of days.
I
here.
have to imagine, like, this is, I kind of expect it to be like GTA 5 Online, where it's going to be pretty barren at the top. A lot of stuff's going to be busted.
Yeah.
Eventually down the road, there are going to be probably a lot of really cool, awesome modes.
But by that
for
point,
it.
it will, that thing will
Yeah.
have spun out in such a way that it is only for those sociopaths, and you're just like, all right, I'd never
And
want to
everybody's
touch
gonna be
this.
walking around with like $7 million because
Right.
something
Right.
broke the economy.
And like I played a lot of GTA Online when it was sort of first out, and I really enjoyed it. So
What
I'm
was-
hopeful about this one too. I
What
think
was
it
there
has
to do at the
potential.
beginning of that thing?
Of GTA Online?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Was it like
team
this?
deathmatch.
Just
I
like
remember
super
like
basic
that
stuff?
I remember there was like a survival mode, which is still really fun, where it's just sort of like horde waves that come through. I'm trying to remember. A lot of the fun. It's also hard because the GTA 5 online world felt more real. It felt more alive. So like wandering around with my friends was more fun. So it'd be like, oh, I'm in a gang and we're all wearing like dumb cat masks and we're like driving these fun cars and like going over stunts. And unfortunately, Red Dead Online doesn't really have those things just because the game is so slow and moseying, and like a lot of the beauty of that game is like discovering the smaller story beats.
Right.
And you can't really have that in the online mode in
Yeah,
the
I
same
mean,
way.
it's got such a promising start because it has that whole
Right.
story-based setup, and like every mission giver you meet has interesting stuff to
Yeah.
say. But then, there's not a whole lot to actually.
There's just
do
not much to do,
yet.
and
Yeah.
like it's unfortunate the economy's broken because I do think if it was like, oh, I'm gonna do a couple of like gang hideouts, whatever, and then just like get a bunch of cool weird outfits, I would be totally on board. But they don't really even have that.
What
which
is
kind
what
of
is the
sad.
cool stuff now in GTA Online for people that have played
Well,
it?
we've
Like,
been
what- like-
we've been doing the heist stuff and
Yeah.
really
Yeah,
focusing
heists
on.
are
But like, honest to goodness, we were as we were trying to figure something out in between a heist, we just poked into some other online shit, and it's fucking bizarre what's going on. It is weirder than like what's the racing one you like, the weird online?
Trackmania?
It is weirder than Trackmania stuff going on where.
Because well,
We
at
did
least
a-
on the PC, they have a lot of like you can make
Yeah,
custom
custom
stuff.
stuff. So it was like a race through. What the hell were we even
Talking
doing?
about the one where you
Floating
like
cars and
explode and you turn into a jetpack.
and then
Right.
like you're riding.
Yeah, it would be like you'd go through these checkpoints and then you would like transform into a plane, and then like you'd go through a different one and then you transform into like a jetpack.
But like
and then
like a
different one.
747, and like you've got to do
Yeah.
these
Yeah.
turns, and then as you're turning around going through a ring, all of a sudden you just explode and turn to a car.
Right,
I'm
and
just
then you're in
like-
a motorcycle, you gotta go through this like loop de loop.
It's all this like Hot Wheels track in the sky thing. You're just like
Yeah.
floating above downtown LA.
It's
weird.
pretty fun.
It
Some
was-
of them are like very long,
Yeah.
but it's fun.
But like they're making anything, so some of them are just like you go off a ramp and then fall 700 feet, and then like at the last minute turn into something and drive away.
this is all like player-made stuff.
Yeah.
Oh, weird.
And
Well,
you're in
I
the-
think it's a mix of like player made and also
Yeah, they put
Yeah.
together some kind of like you can just plop checkpoints down around the city and make a race path. Right?
Yeah, but this was all in the
well,
sky.
yeah, it's
Yeah.
even like you make your own weird little mesh track.
Oh, okay.
yeah.
So it was weird, and we were just in a playlist being like, "What is this anymore? I don't even understand what this is." But it was fun. Those
Yeah,
races were
I think they're
dumb
fun. But like that's the thing with GTA Online is like it's goofy and
Yeah.
fun, and like it's easy to be goofy and fun. And I feel like it's harder to be that way in Red Dead
Yeah,
Online.
the tone is so different of that game that I
Yeah.
wonder if they're going to take it wacky or if they're going to try to stick to
Yeah.
And
that.
like I would be fine being like in a silly cowboy gang. Like my cowboy group is like Cowboys Anonymous, and it's like.
But what
it's
if you could?
Goofy,
What if
but-
you could ride an elephant?
I mean, I'd be on board.
Right.
And what if that element was $60 cash?
I'd be on board. I'd
Okay.
pay $120.
All right.
I don't know. I do it. I just wish there was more to do.
Yeah.
I wish there was more to do, and I wish I could customize my character without being like level 50 and rich.
Yeah, I think it's
Or-
going to take some time, obviously.
Or like, I haven't played much of it yet, but like for me, I understand if you have to put something behind the paywall, like the overalls, right? If you have overalls behind a
Overalls
paywall,
are so cool.
but if you had 150 other options that you're like, oh,
Right.
okay, there's a ton of options here.
I'll
and
get there eventually.
Yeah, there's enough for me to choose from, but this stuff is, I get it. You're
There's
gonna
like
charge.
3 shirts. Yeah, I was about that. All look the same.
Or the
Yeah.
shiny gold overalls are the thing that's
Yes, and it's like there still are clothing options, and it's interesting. I'm playing as a woman, so it's like all my catalog's different than I played in the main campaign,
yeah,
which
yeah.
is like interesting. But I don't know. Also, I'm just like I just want that stuff now, and I like there's nothing else for me to do, so it's like a
you're
weird
focusing on
carrot
it.
that's like so far away, and I'm just like, how do I get this?
Gonna get better teeth.
I made sure my girl has terrible teeth and really red eyes. Otherwise, she looks normal.
The problem is all the teeth are terrible.
I know.
They're all disgusting.
That's why it's like go big or go home.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just put on the big hat, and then you just never see your face.
No way.
Are the heists cool in GTA?
They are fun.
They're
and it's,
complicated, but they're fun.
yeah, they're still like GTA Online style or GTA 5 style mechanics in it. So sometimes, like we did one where we had a little trouble with, is this sequence? Are we breaking the sequence in it, or are we doing this the right way?
Right. There's a little bit of stuff where it's like sometimes they will have like a scripted piece of dialogue from like the narrator that'll make it feel like, oh, I should be stealthy in here, or like, oh no, I messed up, and if I did this right, this thing wouldn't happen. But then we realize like, oh no, this is a scripted thing. You
the
have to
alarm
get
is
caught.
always going to go off here,
Yes.
and where we were like, man, we keep blowing it, but like we're walking slowly and we're doing this. But the fun stuff really happens in the splitting up. So there are a lot of cases where you're broken up into teams of 2, or sometimes even teams of 2, one person. And I'm sure this will happen if they do heists in Red Dead Online, but the technology allows for a lot of different things. Somebody's going to be in a helicopter, somebody's stealing a plane, 2 people are infiltrating a thing. And so that is fun because there are different roles, and it feels like everybody needs to do their part.
Is it easy to pretend you're playing Heat?
Because
that's
they
kinda-
seem to take
kinda-
some inspiration
kinda
from
what I'm
that
looking
for
for.
sure.
Yeah, it's cool. Like, you know, it really hits its stride, I think, when we're all talking together and, like, you know, somebody's in a dogfight trying to take planes out, and, like, Alex and I are deep inside some compound just, like, trying to find the virus or whatever, and Abby is, like, waiting in a car, waiting for us to run outside and get moving.
I'm
and
in a circling pattern above a runway, getting shot at by other jets.
And it's like, are you guys almost done? Hurry up. And, like, we're trying our best.
Right. Or sometimes it'll be a fun thing where like 2 of us run off and like, well, that was smooth and easy. We're just sitting here waiting, and then we just hear chaos from the other group, which is pretty fun.
Yeah, like Dan and I had a fun thing where like you and Alex were doing something, and it sounded,
we just like took a bus, and it was like easy, straightforward.
And like we had
done.
to dress up as like police officers and infiltrate a police station and like sneak through, and like it was fun and dumb. And yeah, so they do interesting things. I think there are only like 5 or 6 of them.
Yeah, they're pretty long though.
They're long.
They're
They're setups, so you have to go get all the stuff. You have to get the plane or the Harrier or the bus. So you have like 3 or 4 setup missions, and then you do the big heist. And you know, you split up the money however you do it, and it's I think the heist.
I think they're neat,
Yeah,
and I
they're
think
neat.
if they have something like that in GTA or in Red Dead Online, like if they start doing like bank robberies and train robberies, I think that'll be really rad.
Yeah, like
and I'm
especially-
excited for that stuff. It seems like the potential is there.
Yeah,
I think
I
it's
thought
like
they
anything
would-
else, it's just gonna roll out
I thought they
slowly.
would launch with that stuff.
I did
which is
too.
Super
Like
disappointing.
especially considering they did a delayed online launch. Why not delay it until 2019 and then like, like that's just puzzling.
And like they call it a beta now, so it's like they're kind of even just saying like, oh, this is not the real thing.
Right.
I got kicked in the face by an invisible horse yesterday, so
I hate when that happens.
they've got a ways to go.
Yeah,
Also,
it's
then
definitely-
the entire little like shanty town around me like disappeared after
Really?
after that.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, there was like I feel like we dealt with some like glitchy, buggy stuff in the online, which I know that the game a lot of people have dealt with that, but I haven't so much in the game.
Yeah, the single player was pretty solid for me, but the online has
but the
been-
online is like, damn, dude, this is like barely working.
I really want the heist stuff for
Yeah,
Red
me
Dead
too.
Online. I know they're gonna have to be very creative. Like I said, I think the setting for GTA Online allows for a lot of
You just have so many vehicles,
so many
and,
different
like,
weird technology things that you
Yeah,
could
this
do.
is going to be a lot more limited, probably.
Yeah, but you could still like get.
Oh, there's still tons of stuff.
Get
you
the
can do.
iron cart that the bank is doing because you have to park it on the tracks in front of the train.
Or like go get that wagon full of oil.
Yeah,
blow
or like,
it up.
Yeah, and I hope they stretch a little bit.
Yeah.
That's like, oh, this guy has some new explosive that we got to hijack, and like that's the only way to break into the Supermax vault. You know, I hope they get creative because that's what they do in GTA Online. Everything is like, we did an EMP thing. You know, like everything is like borderline. Like there's this new technology that is not really real, but we'll make it up because it's fun.
Yeah,
sounds
that's
I
what
saw
want
Ocean's
in
11.
overalls.
EMP technology is real.
Exactly, and I know exactly how it works.
There is one story mission in the single player that's a bank robbery that seems like a good template for.
Yeah.
You probably know what I'm talking about.
Yes.
Like it gives you multiple decision points throughout of like how do you want to handle like do you like. Even like, how do you want this character to act? Do you want her to act like she's
Yes.
injured, or
Yeah.
do you want her to like come on to the bank teller, or and then you go in there and it's like, should I dynamite this safe, or should I take longer to try to pick the lock but get more money that way? And
Are there more of those in the game? Because I really liked
There
that
are a
one.
couple bank robberies.
Yeah, there's a couple others, but
Okay.
that's the only one that's like.
I also wasn't sure if that was a thing I got because I got like the second tier Red Dead. Because you know how I don't know what I actually got with that.
Yeah.
I think I got a horse
Right.
that I no longer use.
That's the one I bought too. So
Yeah.
I think it was like I think I got a couple of guns that were free in the
Yeah,
catalog,
the stables
Okay.
near Valentine will have the free horses.
and a horse.
Yes, I got a horse. horse eventually, and it's also like the online stuff. I got a better horse, which was nice. Like I think there was some stuff for the online because I had like a better horse. I had some guns, but another annoying thing with the online is like I had to go to the fence for my gun and like the stable for my horse. And like the general store for my clothes, and I wish they would have just given it to me because I didn't know what I had.
Yeah.
Like I got my pack so long ago, and at that point I was like, I haven't played this game. All of this stuff is sort of like weird things that I don't actually know what they are. So I was a little like, let's see if I have free stuff at any of these stores. Okay, oh cool, I do, which was like a nice surprise. But
I will say the other interesting thing about GTA Online is they actually create some unique mini games just for the heist stuff. So there's like a hacking mini game that wasn't in the original one. There was like a safe cracking thing where you have to like, they're not all necessarily super fun, but they are unique pieces of content for the heist. Where you did the drilling thing, right? With the drill, the bore out.
Did I? And it can get hot and it can break or whatever.
So anyway, there's unique stuff in there that makes it more interesting because one person is doing that and somebody's doing something completely different.
And it's cool to like kind of be forced to communicate a little bit of like, oh, I have the plane ready, or like, should I take off? Like, are you ready for this? Whatever it is.
That sounds cool. I hope they put the work in because I mean, Rockstar ain't never making another piece of single player DLC again. So I hope that they've got the resources.
I feel like they must. Like my thing with GTA or Red Dead Online now is like it has the potential. This is sort of exactly what I expected. I'm like disappointed that it's not more fully fleshed, but also I'm not surprised. I think a few months down the road will probably be the game I want.
Same. Anybody play anything else? Like I said, we're kind of
Tetris.
Tetris is good.
Tetris is good.
Yeah, everybody. I just look around the office. Everybody's just like playing stuff from
games we've kind of talked to death at this
6
point.
or 8 months ago.
I would like to get into. I think it's coming out soon. That Mutant Year Zero.
Yeah,
is that out now or is it coming out soon?
I'm pretty sure it is out as of now.
I haven't had time to
Today,
check it out, but
Maybe today. Yeah.
But I want to.
Let me double check. I saw something about it launching early.
Which one is that?
It's an XCOM with it's XCOM with animals.
A duck and a pig.
I'm pretty sure it's based on a pretty popular existing franchise.
Animal Farm.
Animal Farm. Yes, it's very political. And it is XCOM. The rule set, I believe, is also coming as it might be
like
a tabletop,
okay.
pen and paper stuff. I played it at PAX. Jan, you played it.
I played it
PAX
with you.
or E3.
E3.
Yeah. Jan did much better than I did. I got creamed.
I just did a little bit better than you. I just got like maybe 5 minutes further than you.
It was pretty tough. There are some interesting mechanics in it that do make it different than XCOM. And I'm sure
like the pig
if I
can throw grenades,
like
the duck is a
Ducks
rocket.
with jetpacks and shit. Yeah.
It was like a weird duck bat, kind of.
It
Yeah.
had wings.
mutants.
That's right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Can't. If I stall long enough, I might remember something.
Okay,
great. But
but
I'm
yeah, we'll
trying.
check it out.
Yeah, there were some stealth elements that you could like kind of dip in and out of combat. You could choose who in your squad actually engages while you're moving other units around to kind of get the drop on them.
Yeah, some people can be in combat. Some
Yes.
can also be in stealth. Some people also, I feel like they could. Somebody was reviving the downed enemies. I remember that was
that was a pain.
That was a big pain.
Yeah.
And I remember them throwing a lot of grenades at me and being like, "Fuck, stop!"
Man, that's
Quack, quack.
I can tell you the Steam reviews are very positive.
Cool.
Here's
It looks good.
A random one says early days yet, but this is everything XCOM should have been.
Okay. I mean, that's a bold statement. Very brave.
Also, XCOM is good.
XCOM is very good.
Also, I didn't realize that this says team includes former Hitman leads and the designer of Payday. So there's some pedigree on that game.
Yeah, well, there was this one part where you dress up as the enemy and just kill everyone. Oh,
wow.
So, no, I'm just kidding.
Dress up as a duck.
There's already a flamingo, probably.
It was not a great demo because the mechanics in it seemed more complicated than I was ready to just take on.
like in a demo.
It does not. Yes, it is a demo. Not the fault of the game, and definitely not the fault of the people presenting the demo. But you walk into those things, you're like, I played XCOM and try
It's
to
like,
play.
I've got 20 minutes to look at this thing,
Yeah.
and you're like, this is going to take more than 20 minutes for
on
you to
day
learn.
4
Yeah.
of and it was like, I'm gonna play it like XCOM, and then immediately get wiped out, and then don't play it like XCOM. You're gonna get creamed. So I'm very curious. It looks cool. I like turn-based tactical shooters, and it seems like it is and the setting seems interesting as well.
Yes, for sure.
So I unfortunately haven't played it yet.
Yeah, we're in that weird gray area now where games are still coming out that we're interested in, and we're also giving out awards right now, and we kind of have to try to play some stuff as fast as possible.
Yes, and I'm also relegated to trying to anything that runs on a MacBook Air. I am trying to get in there and go for it, and I don't think that one does.
There's a Mac version of Into the Breach now.
I
did not know that.
There you go.
Been restarting. And
I have learned
all my
a-
squads again.
There are Mac versions of a lot of very fantastic games that I haven't been able to
Celeste
play.
also just got a pretty big
Oh, wow.
update.
Cool.
Yeah, I saw that.
They're adding like modify. So after you clear the seasides, they have like modifiers now that are like kind of, it seems like skulls, almost like negative.
Yeah, like here's ways to make the games.
We're gonna
the game
it's
harder.
anti-assist mode, I think they called it. So I'm interested to dip back in and check those out.
Have you already finished all the Seasides? Or?
No,
Yeah.
I kind of left those because I read that there wasn't really anything that they unlocked.
okay. Yeah,
So I
so
was just
well,
like,
now they do.
Exciting. Anything else? That's it for games.
That's mostly it. I picked up the Black Friday PlayStation VR bundle.
Same.
Everyone got that one.
Yeah. I'm the only one, right?
Yeah, you're the only weirdo who picked that up.
Yeah.
Mine's sitting at home boxed up.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Oh, so you're waiting for Christmas, huh?
I think at this point I might wait for Christmas.
I couldn't wait.
Well, I knew if I opened it, I would then open it and then abandon my wife to have to deal with the kids wanting to play VR and all the wire. It's not a simple thing to manage, right?
No.
Not that my wife is an idiot, but like it's a mess.
Yep.
And she would be like all these wires and cables,
And
the
you're out
kids
of town, and
yanking on them. And why would you do this to me? And then
Yes.
just leave.
I feel like that's certainly not a parent myself, but I feel like that is a whole extra tier of like, don't touch this unless I say so. You only get 30 minutes a night or whatever.
Yeah, exactly. And my wife and I talked about that in terms of like, okay, this is going to have to be the one, because my son will play video games for 9 hours straight on like a.
He takes after his father that
yeah,
way.
so like if you don't. He said to me, my fucking son said to me, he said, we were like, well, we gotta go, get dressed, we gotta go do something, right? We gotta go out or something like that. And he goes to me and my wife, he's like, it's Saturday, it's the only day I get to stay in my pajamas all day and play video games. My wife just looked at me and goes, it's fucking you. And I had to be like, yeah, you're right. Right? Just chill out. Just get to stay in my pajamas and play video. Yeah, you're right. You do. Anyway, we did not crack open the VR.
Yeah, it's probably a good idea.
Yeah.
Yeah, it did. My son and I actually fought over it last night.
Nice.
So, yeah, I had it on. I was playing a game, and he was like, let me see. And he would get in front of the camera just because he knows that messes up everything.
Oh,
and he was
wow.
trying to piss me off.
So it fits
So
him
we shut
okay?
it off. Yeah.
Okay.
He's got to like hold it. Like it tightens up pretty nice up on top, but he's got to like hold the visor. But
Okay.
I really only let him sit in there for like 10, 15 minutes at a time.
That's what I think we're going to probably do until I finish conducting my test, see how it affects adolescent
Good.
brains.
Yep.
Does it make their brain soft? What's the problem?
I think the jury's just
There's
out.
spatial
And is it
awareness
more
or
wrinkly?
something. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I have no idea. Like,
Okay.
you know,
Is it a brain thing or an eye thing?
I don't know.
Or is it like
I have
a
no idea.
mental thing?
I
Like
don't
a-
know.
I thought it was the 3D.
Yeah.
Because didn't they say like
On
don't
the
let
3DS, it was
they said don't let little kids under like 6 play 3DS.
It's an
something
eye
like that.
thing.
I
think.
also feel like because their eyes are closer together, like that would mess up the VR. Because I know like some women, like it's hard in some VR systems
with
because a lot of them are
smaller
designed for
faces.
men. Yeah, smaller faces aren't as good. It's like
I don't know. I listen. I don't want to undermine the science. I don't. Everything I've read is the science isn't there. Like their studies just haven't been.
It's more like, hey, we think maybe like to cover our asses, we're going to tell you to maybe not let kids use this stuff just yet.
Yeah.
But fucking, we don't know.
Yeah. So I don't know, and I'm sure. Please, if you're listening to this, don't send me 100 different studies. Like,
Seriously.
but I think moderation, like most things, is probably pretty good.
Yeah.
Except for Sonic Racing, which you can play as much as you
What-
want.
There
what's-
you go.
What's happened to you?
In moderation,
Yeah.
I don't know.
What happened to an entire bucket of KFC, Vinny?
oh, he still comes out sometimes.
It's here in all its glory, Brad. Here. You want to see what happened? You want?
I thought I knew you.
40 years.
Do as I say, not as I do.
Yeah, I mean, listen, it's a tough thing raising a kid who does exactly what you want it to do, which is sit there and play games in his pajamas all
Just
Saturday.
pure unfiltered id.
Yeah, my only argument, it's like I have no problem with that. My only bone to pick would be like, I would like you to try and something else and see if you like that as well. And if you don't, that's fine. We can come back to Sonic Racing. But I think it's good to, hey, maybe you'll like this other thing too. But if you don't try it, then
Like Mutant Year Zero or
yeah,
something like that.
Yeah, exactly.
Give that a shot.
If you don't like the piano, you can play the violin.
Gold
people
farming.
People try and play some 4X games.
People
Like, come on,
keep
kid.
saying Mario Kart's good. We should try that, and then be like, since it's not, we'll come back to Sonic Racing.
Sounds like you think those Smash might be a good.
I think
holiday.
Smash is going to be fun as hell.
Yeah.
I think he's going to really like Smash Brothers, and he wants Smash Brothers, and for some reason really wants Luigi's Mansion.
Weird.
Doesn't quite understand that. Like what platforms are in terms like you can't just gin up a game that
like original Luigi's Mansion.
Yeah.
I think he unfortunately YouTube ruins everything, so he saw Luigi's Mansion on YouTube and is like, we'll just get that, and it's like, well, that's on like 3DS. I don't really want to. I think I have it on 3DS. I dig out my 3DS.
And then what's
charge
the new one? What's the new thing? Is that
I don't know.
Is it a
Yeah.
remake of the first? What is that? There's a
it's-
Switch
wait,
thing,
next
right?
year.
Switch thing. It's a new game.
Yeah.
It's a new one?
They're literally
It's new.
calling
Oh.
it
It's
a
Luigi's
sequel,
Mansion
right.
3.
Oh, cool.
Great.
But we have to. Kids have to learn disappointment.
Yes.
So
Get them started
Get him
early.
Super Mario Sunshine. If you want to teach him disappointment.
Yeah, here's a terrible game.
Yeah, that'll stop him from playing all day.
I think I might get him Pikachu. I think,
Hell yeah.
Oh yeah.
like we've been playing a lot of the Pokemon card game, and I think that
Awesome.
that from what I've heard of that Pokemon, was it Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu?
Yep.
Yeah.
And Eevee.
Yep.
And or Eevee. That sounds like it might be super fun.
Is he gonna have a hard time with the reading?
No, it's amazing. Like I know people have criticisms of games, but I will honestly say he learned to read from like playing games
cool.
because I would not sit there with him all the time and be like, listen, if you're going to play this stuff, you got to learn where continue and start and end and
Right.
all this stuff is, and inventory and item and
It's like playing imports. As long as you can read those words,
Yeah.
you're fine.
totally. Like his first word might have been like stage select. Yeah, he picked up a lot of vocabulary just from having to learn that stuff. So yeah, it's weird having kids and trying to add somebody who loves video games and then watch somebody else who is really taking to them. Be like, okay, what is this? Do you play all the time, or should we do something else?
I know,
Moderate this. Yeah, it's fun. And he just gets so much fucking crap. He's got a cool dad. He's got a very cool.
Oh, you mean
dad.
stuff,
Gets stuff.
toys.
Good stuff. He's got so much stuff. Hanukkah is going now. Happy Hanukkah, everybody! So he's getting tons of presents for Hanukkah. He's gonna get tons of presents for Christmas, and he's at the age now where I can buy him video game presents.
That's great.
So
Should get him a drone. Those are big.
I'm
Kids
good.
love drones.
Kids love drones.
There's been a lot of Best Buy ads really pushing drones with the tagline "Dudes love drones."
Dudes do love drones.
It's true.
though. Yeah.
I love them.
Can't argue with that.
Don't.
I wanted a remote control helicopter as a kid.
Oh, hell yeah.
back
Me too.
before they were called drones.
Who didn't?
It was just a cool idea. Like, this thing can fucking fly and it's tiny. That's weird. So the idea that those are like widespread now, like, yeah, I get it.
Yeah.
But also like now they're fucking stupid and people are being jack-offs with them and
And they're
like,
also, like,
whoops, they landed
yeah,
on the road.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
pranks. Oh,
Right.
you can do so many pranks.
That's right.
with
This
drones.
drone's got a
What's a good way-
camera on it. We're gonna fly into
like
someone's
buzzing
backyard and look at their
people.
window,
Oh,
check
really?
this shit out.
And, like
Oh,
putting
man.
little cameras on them for YouTube compilations of like, I freaked out the mayor with my drone.
The mayor.
I freaked the mayor.
Not a guy.
Now I'm in prison.
Like and subscribe.
If you freak someone with your drone, can the person like, smash the drone and be okay?
Oh, there was, I think,
know.
totally that situation came up not long ago.
Because he's not. I'm not touching you. I'm not touching you with my drone.
Yeah.
I think if a drone got close to me, I would instinctually fucking smash it to
Yeah.
the ground and
It's
step
also-
on it and be like, "Fuck you, dick."
Yeah.
Drones are so loud. Like you can't sneak
It's a
up on
swarm
someone
of
with a
bees.
drone.
Yeah.
Like they are.
They're loud and they're like so
loud.
unstable that even like the slightest tap will like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Here it is. Judge rules man had right to shoot down drone over his house.
Hell yeah.
Fucking A.
That's the kind of
Fuck
freedom I can
world
get
are we
behind.
leading in?
Where is this from?
Where
was this?
Where was this?
Do you know where that's from? That's from like
This
that
near-
I feel like
that is
Florida.
from the beginning intro movie of Mutant Year Zero in a newspaper that is hitting the screen.
was
And
gonna say,
the
like,
last one
Black
says,
Mirror.
"Yeah, duck running for mayor." You know, like
So I'm proud to announce that I'm working on Drone Hunt. It's just Duck Hunt, but with drones.
But with drones.
And we're
The dog
Yeah,
still laughs.
the dog still laughs.
This was outside Louisville, Kentucky.
The dog is like the Boston Dynamics thing. Yeah, like robot dog.
Also, like,
Suck it, little drone.
is that a tough shot? Like, I guess it depends how that drone's
If that
moving,
drone
huh?
hovers, then
Yeah, I
you
guess
know,
Yeah.
so. I
like,
don't know.
if it all only has to
Probably
stop for a
depends on
second.
what kind of gun.
Yeah,
too.
yeah.
I remember that being a thing when the Amazon was talking about the drone delivery. Do you guys have that? Is that a real thing?
I don't think they ever.
Oh yeah, all the
they
time.
Never had
Yeah,
it.
no,
I
no,
never tried that. did they?
They tested it, but it
They
never,
did it
like,
with pizza for a Silicon Valley premiere.
Yeah.
Where they would deliver pizza with drones.
Did we ever talk about that like open source drone navigation system that people are working on?
I'm sorry.
Like
What?
it's like TCP/IP for drones. Like you know what I mean? Like it's a protocol that propagates itself as opposed to servers controlling drones.
No.
They would all have the same logic for how to navigate, and then
Shit, that's some Black Mirror
then
shit.
you just turn them all on and they just go without any human intervention. So like the idea was that like cities would have like thousands of drones just constantly
just the
flying over
Patriots?
them.
How could that go wrong?
It was for delivery
How
and
could that-
shit.
Who's got the keys?
Well, it's
Who's
like
got the keys,
I
bro?
think self-driving cars.
It's
and stuff,
basically
it's like
that.
the same type of
Yeah.
algorithm, which is like, okay, these things need to get around.
Yes.
They need to be aware of
Yes,
each other.
It is that.
And like that, the thing then people start to get to is like, well, actually, it's the humans driving the cars that are the problem now because they're not on the grid.
Yeah.
So let's just bolt this to your brain and then you drive this way.
Like the idea was that like every office building would have like 100 drones on the roof, and if
Just
you
like
wanted
Harry Potter.
like if you wanted to courier a package across town, you would just like hook the package up to the drone and
Yeah.
punch in the address, and it would just know how to fly there.
Huh.
It's frightening.
yeah.
The stuff about the self-driving car stuff was I think the most recent thing that I was reading about was the idea of just like they have to be coded to, or they are being coded to try to spare people in different classes of like they have to classify people in different ways
It was like
to
the
be
trolley problem thing.
Yeah.
Kind of.
What?
in terms of just like
Because
okay,
like if it's like a hypothetical scenario of like
A
if there's
school bus of kids.
yeah, if there's like a
Oh.
child here and like two older people here and the car has to hit one of them, what do you do?
and then literally having to code these self-driving cars in ways that like have to consider that sort of stuff, and then that gets to really dark shit about like, well, this obese person's gonna get hit before this fit person. This big person gets hit
Whoa.
before a small person, and like the logic that was being posited was just like,
Hang on,
fucked.
let's just check their social credit scores before
Yeah.
we
Yeah.
decide who
All
gets
right,
to
this
live.
person has a
that
Q
was-
rating.
That was on the list. It's
Cool.
But yeah, a drone network that flies shit around does sound
sounds
convenient.
cool in
I'd like some pizza.
Yeah, who wouldn't?
Well, then right. So then, anyway, the thing of like people intercepting the drones and shooting them down, I remember was a thing that was talked about too. Of like, I mean, I assume that it would be a crime, but also
A federal judge disagreed.
But I think if you got to a point where you were saying, "Hey, these drones are now part of a network
Yeah.
of services," that would
Right.
then
But also-
reclassify that.
I think
it-
Amazon would have an easy time making that happen.
Yeah,
I mean, but if you're low enough on somebody's property, like, what's your airspace? What's the vertical airspace
right.
of your
Like,
property?
how much do I own about my house?
How much of the
Yeah.
air
I mean,
do
that
you
has
own?
to be established already. Like
I'm sure.
But it's established for like conceptually for airplanes.
Yeah, it's
You know,
just
Somebody
some,
drive-
some FAA thing. I'm
I have to
sure.
put a little blinking light on my ham radio
Yeah.
antenna just so drones don't hit it. Can I put up a big net that just catches drones?
Yeah.
and
There you
then
go.
it's a really long butterfly net, and you're running around.
Get a bunch of free pizza.
Yeah, do you think pizza delivery by drone? Do you think the pizza would be like incredibly screwed up, or do you think it would be like pristine?
I think if that drone is not having trouble flying,
Yeah.
I think stabilizes.
Hack the drone out of the air and get the
So
pizza.
that's the thing is like, could you build something
Watch
like
Dogs 3.
knowing basically what frequencies
Yeah.
drones are gonna like receive signals on? Could you just build a very high powered dish that emits those frequencies at a high enough level
It would
to
have
just
to
where
be.
you point it at the drone and that's enough to disrupt it enough
We're gonna get some really good
bring
emails
it
next week.
down
I think you'd have
to get the pizza?
That's the
Watch
the,
Dogs
the,
3.
the communication would definitely have to be encrypted. So
Yeah.
like the communication, could you overpower it where it's losing
Yeah, it's
signal?
not necessarily like that
Right.
you need to send encrypted. It's more just like a packet overflow.
Yeah.
Just like I'm gonna fucking overload.
like a DDoS or
Yeah,
something.
Or
basically.
how about this? A really big net.
Yeah, but like, what if it was a cyber net? Is what I'm saying.
Uh-huh.
Because a really big net is hard to like put up and take down.
Like a
No, I mean,
VNet?
like
Okay,
a
okay.
net
How
gun,
about you
like,
shoot
what-
it
Yeah, okay,
and
net
you're protected
gun.
by the government?
Oh,
But
Or-
I don't want like buckshot in my pizza.
Okay, that's a good point.
And the point
You
is,
know?
I'm trying to steal somebody else's pizza.
Don't
What if
knock-
it was
don't
like
knock it
rock
until you try
salt
it.
and you would just be salting your pizza?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
or what if you just have like a goo gun and it just like
yep.
like
I love
a-
goo.
It's like
Yeah.
barbecue
Guns.
sauce.
Yes.
Yeah.
Just like lasso
Oh,
is.
with the barbecue sauce to shoot down
pineapple
drones.
slices at it and then
No, man, extra cheese.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah,
There we go.
there
That's
you
the
go.
right answer.
Gooey enough?
Yeah.
But then I
Could you get a big enough and focused enough fan that you are blowing air at it in a way that it
That's gonna make
overloads
it cold.
its ability to. It's going to be sealed in some kind of like protective thing.
What if it was just a t-shirt cannon and you put a log of pepperoni in it?
Well, we should do that.
Okay.
We're
Yeah,
going
right,
to
yeah.
anyway.
Yeah.
But then you also need to make sure you take the GPS out of it once you get the drone. And
Yeah,
then tie
you
that to
can't
like
know. Yeah, exactly. Like people can't know when the drone went down or
Yes.
where it was.
and you have to slap it on the back of a car that has stopped at a light so that they're following the
Yeah.
car away.
Because
I think.
if you make it known that your vicinity is
Yeah.
a drone vacuum, the drone network will eventually be programmed to fly around
and
you.
no more free pizza.
Well, I mean, whatever. You just drive up the fucking street and do it.
Yeah, that's
And you create another hole. You create enough holes, it's going to have to start going back into the areas that got previously
I
blocked
see, like
off.
Donut
or it's just
County.
not exactly.
okay. Got it.
We're going to send him a fucking donut.
I'm excited for the future.
Yeah.
Hey, listen, you guys are living it.
Hey, there's opportunity everywhere.
Yeah.
You know, when people start
Red Dead taught me that.
Yeah. And just knock the drones out of the air.
Exciting.
Yeah, very exciting.
Okay.
I tell you what, here's the opportunity
Okay.
I will take that.
All right, yeah.
So you're creating holes for drones, and you're just a nightmare for all these pizza delivery
That's
companies.
right.
You know what the opportunity I'm going to have
Kills
is?
drones dead. That's what I do.
I'm going to start having to hire. We're going to have to. This is how technology goes. We're going to have to integrate the humans back into it. And
Yep.
I am going to hire people to pilot drones manually with like flight sticks
Yeah.
that are going to be fighting
In
back.
a bunker in Vegas.
Totally, just
There's-
like
there's-
the toys. What's
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, just like toys.
We're gonna be training kids to fly drones. They're gonna think they're playing video games.
No, I think where the humans come into it is that the humans are going to be paid $3 for each drone they find and charge up, and just let it free.
Jeff, have you considered dressing up like the Noid for this pizza interception
smart.
business?
He loved pizza. He
yeah,
wouldn't
I'll-
shoot pizza.
I have
well,
now.
I mean, he loves ruining pizza.
Was that his whole thing?
Yeah, he makes good pizza.
yeah, that's
bad.
why you avoid the Noid by going to Domino's.
Why
I
would
make,
Domino's
I make
make
good
their-
pizza bad by eating
Well, he
it.
wasn't their like mascot. He was like, hey, this guy's he's out there fucking up the
Look out
ground
for this guy.
table
He was a
and-
bad guy.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess the Hamburglar was an
Yeah.
enemy to burgers.
Love-
No,
Yes.
he loved burgers, but
Well, yeah, he loved him so, but the Noid hates pizza.
The
No,
Noid,
the Noid
is
loves
a
pizza.
nemesis.
What
He's
about
your
Grimace?
pizza nemesis.
Grimace like shakes.
Grimace was he was
Why-
originally
what
like an
is he? He's
8-armed.
purple.
He originally had like
He's
8
like a
arms
purple
and he carried a bunch of
potato.
shakes. And he walked around with shakes, but
That's too
the
many
children were so
shakes.
scared of him
Yeah, they
because he
should
looked
be.
terrifying with all his
They
arms.
made
that
him better.
they just kind of turned him into a lump.
Kids love lumps.
costumes were expensive
Kids
back
love
then.
lumps.
Okay.
What else is going on in the news?
Why don't we take a quick break and then we'll find out? Okay. What do you say? All right. We'll be right back.
Kids love lumps.
What's this about genetic material?
I've been collecting it from all of you
Oh.
during this. So every time
Ew.
you spit, which has been a lot.
I've just been giving you dry skin.
Come in here
dry
and
skin, shedding.
swab the microphones after we're done.
Yeah. So
I pooped on the desk you've been using. I knew you wanted some.
I'm submitting you all for 23andMe this holiday season.
Aw.
Yeah.
Against
Against all of your wishes. So we
Great,
can,
thanks.
track all of
Hey,
Make
you.
sure you don't
awesome.
scramble the tubes, because I don't want to get somebody else's.
No, I
DNA
never scramble the
results.
tubes. I'm very careful.
Okay.
Yeah.
How thoughtful.
Yeah. You're
What if you
welcome.
did that?
That would suck.
Just like no, I mean like
Oh, put
what
the wrong
sample you
information?
sent to them, you just like took a bunch of different stuff and then like some sewer water and then like let your cat lick it for a while and then send it to them.
That's like in Ratatouille when he's like, "It first came back and it was a rat hair." That was a really bad accent.
That was
but
pretty good. I got it.
Yeah,
was
that's
good, though.
pretty much nailed it.
But you did bring up something interesting, which is like, what if you just submit somebody else's stuff and put your name attached to it, and then you're just basically, I'm clear with them.
Yeah.
I feel like
Perfect crime.
They've got to
Yeah.
have.
who cares about what your DNA is to
The government cares
Why?
because they can use it.
But they don't run 23andMe, do they?
Yeah, they.
No,
like,
but
I'm-
23andMe has
They have. I'm pretty sure they have agreements with like federal law enforcement.
they have
But
passed
what
over stuff
different- what does
to.
it
Yeah,
matter?
like you can
Unless you
because.
commit crime.
Well,
Yeah,
I
what's
mean,
the
I don't know.
concern?
They have my
Are you planning to
fingerprint.
kill
you're
anybody?
right. Hey, if I've got to, if I'm innocent, then I've got nothing to fear.
That's
I guess.
right.
I got-
Yeah.
Just
They already have
yeah.
my fingerprints.
You
They
got nothing
already
to hide,
have my
right?
Burn off
entire
your
history
fingerprints.
online.
burn
What-
off your
What
online.
if somebody
I've
wants to-
given blood at the
what if
doctor.
Burn
somebody
off
wa-
your blood.
What if somebody wants to frame you though, huh? What if they find your
Cool.
genetic
Fun
information?
story. They can write a memoir about it.
We could start a podcast about it.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow. The
We've been
perfect
looking to
crime.
get into the true crime vertical.
Yeah.
It's how they got the Golden Gate Killer, right? Or is that the name of the killer? I could just be making that up. The guy
Golden
in
State?
Golden State Killer.
Yeah, they basically they had his genetic information from like 30 years ago, and I believe they just submitted it to 23andMe. It was like, who am I? And like put it up there, and then his family members came up because they had done it. So they then basically knew that these people had a brother who lived around the time and was like, after 40 years, they were basically like, case solved. Which is an interesting way to do it. And, the legal stuff I've read about being like, it's not, I guess, technically illegal to do.
Yeah.
So, anyway.
I feel like that's up there with the, like, Amazon Alexa solves a murder thing of like, oh, it's cool that murder got solved, but also, holy shit, this is bad.
It is a little
Also,
weird.
wait, Amazon thing is just recording in your house all the time?
Yeah.
Yeah, it has to, because for the wake term or whatever, it has to always be
Right,
listening
but the
for
fact that it's potentially being saved.
Yeah, that's the thing. Is like, hey, yeah, everyone knows it's a microphone,
Oh,
but
yeah.
also it's recording all the time and saving it.
We've
Like,
heard
fuck that.
his.
Yeah, I've heard-
We've
Yeah.
heard his. What is
Farts.
rain?
But that's like stuff that he deliberately said to it.
Sure.
It's more and like I get it, like
The
whatever. Like
chatter
I'm not
that,
against
like-
the whole idea. It's that thing of it's kind of technically recording even when it doesn't hear
Sure.
the wake word. Like, oh, well, fucking
like
fuck
Siri.
that.
I mean, that's also
Yeah.
there was
Well.
that video that went around. I don't know how real it was. Maybe it was a hoax of like people with their phone out with like Facebook on it, being like talking about cat food, and they don't have a cat, and then like they started getting ads for cat food.
I have had that experience. I don't know if it's just like power of suggestion and it's not actually happening, but
Nobody's
it
ever
sure seems creepy.
found a link or like,
Yeah.
and they swear up and down that it's not the case. But I've seen so many of those just anecdotal
I thought
stories
they were like
of
patents for TVs to do that stuff.
Yeah.
I thought that's
Yeah,
like
I
not
think
that
that's-
mysterious. I thought they were like baking it into some TVs that are just like, hey, we can record, ambient sound and then run that through a filter to see what shows we should recommend or devices, send it to other devices.
So, actually, Dan and I have a story about our phones listening to us from when we were in Denmark. And Dan's the only person I know from Kansas. And then after Dan and I, like the first day in Denmark, I go to my hotel room, scrolling through Instagram, and then I get 3 ads for the state of Kansas.
Like tourism for
Like,
Kansas,
yeah.
which, first of all, don't. But second of all, like, have you ever seen those ads
I've
before?
never seen those ads
and you
before.
got them while you were in Denmark.
While I
Yeah.
was
So,
in
Did you guys
Denmark.
tag each other in a photo?
No.
I don't. As far as I know, I don't think
I
we're
don't think
friends other than Twitter.
Because we couldn't say we were there at the time,
Yeah.
so we definitely didn't like post anything while we were there.
Did anybody say
So-
the word Kansas in conversation?
Maybe.
Well, I
But
don't know
also,
how.
you were both geolocated in similar locations, and it knows that Dan is from Kansas because
Yeah.
Dan uses his phone.
But it's fucked up.
And so would it then
And you
just
might not be friends,
assume-
but you probably have mutual friends.
Probably. I mean, there's probably
It
like
would've been
Abby or
there's the
like
Twitter
Giant Bomb account.
connection.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that. And then just Facebook's always listening. It's fucked up.
Yeah, I mean, I think that stuff is like generally yes. Who cares if I'm doing it? But my thing is, I assume all of that information will get out there and it'll be used for marketing, and
Sure.
which is the worst possible sin. And then somebody will get your DNA information, then start sending you products that align to your DNA. Like, hey, it looks like you might have heart disease, or like, hey, you clearly have curly hair because of your DNA profile.
Fix it!
Yeah. Here's a way to fix it. So I think that stuff is lame. You see, there was like speaking of Marriott, you see there was like a giant Marriott hack.
Huge
Yeah.
reach
Yeah,
of
yeah.
Marriott and like all the sub brands, like the
Yeah.
W.
Oh man.
Like 700,000 people.
Yeah.
I wonder
Credit
if
card numbers,
was this a recent hack
travel
or was this a
info.
recent disclosure of an older hack?
Recent disclosure.
Okay, I was going to say, I wonder if because there's a big strike going on at the Marriott next door and the W up the street. And I was like, oh, I wonder if someone was incentivized to fuck those hotels over.
I think it was like over the course
yeah,
of the.
okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Everything's getting hacked.
Yeah, exciting. Good times.
I got a thing from Newegg that was like, hey, our cart was hacked for a month, so any purchases you made through Newegg basically just siphoned off to a third party.
Okay.
You should destroy your credit card.
Fucking what?
Okay.
Yeah. They injected code into the
Yeah,
checkout page. and-
I totally get how that could happen, but holy shit.
And apparently, when I looked it up, I was like, okay, this is absolutely real, and it's happened to a couple of other places like Ticketmaster and.
Jeez.
I've been hearing some crummy stories about Newegg in the
Yeah?
last 6 months. I trace it back like they have new ownership. I think like 2 years ago or something. They got bought. I don't know. It's a bummer. I used to use Newegg all the time.
What's the bad shipping? Or?
Yeah, like subtle like price bumps here and there on little just little marginal,
Oh.
maybe not best practices kind of for a company that was pretty, universally well regarded to be like a
Yeah.
go-to electronics.
Yeah. Like decent prices, fast shipping.
Yeah.
Speaking of best practices,
Yeah.
let's get into the news.
The Muse.
This is the Muse.
Jason
Jason Muse.
News you can use.
Jason Mewes news. All the news that's fit to print about Jason
That's
Mewes.
right.
Pass.
It's a thin newspaper.
Snoochie Boochies.
Oh, that guy, right.
Yeah. He's in a new weed game.
Whoa.
Do you remember Noobs?
Yeah.
Branching out.
He was in Noobs.
What?
That movie?
Okay.
Let's not.
The
Oh,
Gears?
yeah. Let's not. Let's not.
No?
What's in the Muse?
It's been a wild week in digital storefronts. Steam made this announcement what was the 30th? Whatever day the 30th was.
Steam's
last
getting
week.
into Jason Mewes vape juice.
That's right.
That was a close one.
You like it?
Yeah, yeah. Pull that one out. At the end.
Jason Mewes is now a registered Steam VR developer. They're changing their revenue split to favor the most profitable games on their service.
Almost as if they sensed an impending competitor getting ready to launch right around the corner.
Or, they've already started to have an exodus of the biggest games from the platform.
Sure.
So what does that?
Black
What
Ops-
does that mean?
Black Ops 4 didn't launch on Steam. Fallout 76 has yet to do so.
Destiny.
Well, it was never on there, but yeah. Okay, so previously the kind of industry standard revenue split is 70-30.
On Steam?
Across
pretty much across the
everything.
board.
On platforms?
PSN and-
Google Play, the Apple Store, just about everything.
Oh, really?
Steam
Okay.
included. So Steam, Valve is adjusting that so that now if a game makes over $10 million,
Dollars or units sold?
dollars.
Okay.
If a game makes over $10 million, the split now adjusts to 75-25 in favor of the developer.
After the 10 million.
I don't know if it's progressive or not. I don't know if it says. You're talking about like
It's
it would
not
still be-
retroactive.
Right.
You're not going to get for
A
that
bump,
first
a
10
chunk of
million,
money. Like,
yeah.
hey, you did it.
Right.
Oh, you mean
You're not going to go back and give me an extra
Like
5% on that 10
sales
million.
past the 10 million is when the split
that's
adjusts
what I'm
from
saying.
that.
That's
yeah.
what I'm saying. I don't know.
It doesn't sound like a retroactive cut, but I don't know.
Well, this says it started October 1st, so I think. Anyway, I'm not.
Oh, sorry, I didn't mean.
We're saying like
a
even a new game that launches
Yeah.
tomorrow,
Yes.
when it makes 10 million, it doesn't retroact. Like the split doesn't get better
Yeah,
on
that's
those retroactive.
that's a progressive split. That's
Yeah,
what I'm saying.
right.
Like it's 70-30 on the first 10 million. It's
Yeah.
like
And-
taxes.
Right, and then after that, you're going to get 25.
Yes.
Or
Yes.
give up 25.
Retroactive would be games that have come out weeks
Yeah.
ago, getting
Yeah,
that made good.
No.
Yeah, they don't go into a lot of detail on that, but they do say over 10 million adjusts 75-25. At 50 million, it then adjusts to 80-20.
Sure.
Um,
That's win-win.
yeah.
I mean, the Steam,
If you're-
game
if
is
you're
making that
Activision,
much, well, if your game on Steam is making that much money, it means Steam is making that much money.
oh yeah.
So, like, the more money your game makes on Steam, the more money Steam is going to make. So,
Sure. It just doesn't necessarily benefit a whole lot of people.
no.
I mean, we're talking, half a dozen companies that are probably hitting.
And is that the best the split gets? Is 80-20?
Yeah, that's where it stops.
I'm sorry, what was it? 25 million? What was the
50.
50 million?
50 million, it goes to 80-20.
It's $50 million USD.
Yeah,
as in-
also, you're right. It does say 80-20 on earnings beyond 50 million.
Okay.
So, yeah, it does start there.
Yeah.
Surely nobody could beat 80-20.
But again, like, who does that benefit on Steam? Like, how many companies is that? Like 6, 8?
The
who's
biggest
doing-
games, which
yeah.
are the ones that are most likely to
To
flee
leave.
to a competing service
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
start their own
Yeah.
or something like that. The
mean,
games
it's
that
like-
would be courted most heavily.
I mean,
like-
Steam is still a gigantic distribution
Oh, yeah, of
platform
course.
on the PC. So even if you are doing your own thing, you probably are reaching more eyeballs on
I'm
Steam.
just trying to think, like EA's have been out of there for years.
Yeah.
Like Bethesda is in the process of leaving.
Ubisoft.
Activision took off. Like Ubisoft is probably
They're still there, but
Yeah.
they
They run their own client,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
it still sells on Steam.
yeah. Like they're probably in this category. Like who else?
and they haven't ruled out that Fallout 76 may come to
Yeah.
Steam eventually.
Yes.
I imagine once it gets to a point where people wouldn't want to like hate refund it
Yeah.
over and over again, they will put it out there.
Do you think that? So, you guys know a lot about video games.
Okay, sure.
What
you say
ha-
so.
What happens when I'm Ubisoft? I sell Rainbow Six.
You make a laser tag thing.
It's
you
a
get
Rainbow
Mr.
Six
Caffeine out
Siege.
there.
on Steam. And
Okay.
then is Steam then getting a cut of all the
Yes.
microtransactions because it's on their platform, even if it's going through the Ubisoft client that launches
So
in the background?
If you, I think if you are doing any of it through Steam at all,
Yeah.
then they are getting a cut. If you,
What if I'm in-game doing it? and
that
I'm
is still
tied
going
to-
to go through
Steam?
because that still goes through your Steam payment stuff.
It doesn't go
at
through
the end
the
of the
Uplay
day. I don't think
client?
it goes through the. Have you associated a payment instrument with Ubisoft?
I'm not
'Cause
sure.
I sure as hell
I
have
don't
not.
think I have. I don't
Uh,
think I have.
Yeah. So like that stuff, that transaction will probably still flow through Steam,
Through Steam?
if you
Okay.
launched it
Okay.
that way.
Because that content is probably managed through Steam or my Uplay
Yeah.
account?
Both.
Well, both. So,
Okay.
I mean, you're getting I think what generally happens when you buy a Ubisoft game on Steam is it is generating a product key that then also gets tied to your Uplay account. So what Ubisoft would actually really love for you to do from that point on is to
Just
stop
launch
launching
it,
the
yeah.
game through Steam and start launching it through your Uplay account pure
Yeah.
and make all your purchases there
Okay.
because then they're not cutting in Steam on that stuff.
Which I assume you can do. Like I said, like you bring up
Yeah,
a good
once-
point. I don't
once
think I
you-
have given them like payment information.
Right. Once you associate like a product key with your Ubisoft account, that is available to you outside of Steam if you so choose.
So I wonder if that counts in the unit, like in the 50 million. Like if it is like, I bought Siege, but I've also given them an extra $100 because I bought the season passes.
So does all that add
Yeah, I
up
wonder if
to
It just says revenue. It doesn't
Okay.
distinguish between like unit sales of games and DLC.
So if that's the case,
Oh, you
I
know what?
think-
In fact, it actually flat out says revenue includes game packages, DLC, in-game sales, and community marketplace games.
So I think that expands the net a
marketplace
bit.
stuff?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think
Wow.
that expands the net a bit in terms of who this is benefit because there are smaller games that are just making a lot of money, a long tail on purchases in game.
yeah, but I'm trying to think of like.
I bet Rocket League has gotten up there.
Yeah, sure.
Sure. I don't know. I have no idea what.
But I'm thinking like
financials are.
small team indie tier type stuff. Like what is it? Undertale,
Yeah.
Stardew Valley.
Oh yeah,
Right,
I mean
yeah.
that's a high number.
I
If
can't
they're
think of
making
many,
20 million,
I can think of very few
Terraria.
games. Yeah, that actually qualify for this that
Sure.
aren't like massive publicly held publishers.
so so who puts out Payday?
Is
Overkill.
Is Overkill the
Yeah,
publisher on that?
I bet
probably?
that
Like
thing.
505 put it out.
they're
at one
probably
point.
in there.
They're probably up
Yeah.
there. I bet there are a couple of outliers.
Yeah.
That
For
have
like small to medium tier studios, this is probably a godsend.
Like Warframe
Yeah,
is
yes.
up here
yes.
for sure.
But yeah, I wonder if it is incentive. Like I think CD Projekt Red came out recently and said that their new Witcher game, which they were only putting out through GOG, that one that's like it's like turn based.
Not
Have you heard of it? No.
What?
Okay.
Look it up. I forget the name of it. It came out and they basically said it had poor sales because it wasn't on Steam because it was on GOG and then they have since put it on Steam because they just didn't have enough market share to push it.
I think that's the situation. Like the publishers like Bethesda that Quake Champions went into beta only on their launcher and then it eventually came to Steam. Like they're still very much in that bucket of like they've got their own thing, but also they want to get the Steam eyeballs.
Yeah.
They're hedging their bets.
Yeah.
Right now for sure.
Sorry, did you get the name of that game?
I'm looking for it. I have no idea what that is.
Oh, really?
Wait, it's not. It's
It doesn't
not.
exist.
It's not Thronebreaker: The Witcher Tales.
I think that is it.
What is
Isn't
that?
an update
Exactly.
to Gwent? The
N-
Thronebreaker thing?
I don't think it is.
Oh, I don't see.
Oh.
Did you find a Steam page for
I'm
it?
trying to find it. This was on the.
Sorry, I didn't mean to derail. It just
Dude, yeah, November 9th. What?
yeah.
What?
It's like a turn-based.
Oh, weird. It's like an old school PC, like overhead, point and click kind of action RPG thing.
Okay.
Weird.
Well, action or like
Wait.
like not.
Also, now I see cards.
Yeah, this is totally a Gwent thing.
There's part of this that looks like Gwent, but there's also part of this that looks like Baldur's Gate.
Yeah,
Baldur's
I
Gwent.
haven't checked it out.
Wow, I have never heard of this.
All right.
It might be Gwent based. I'm not sure.
'Cause I know they did a big, completely changed the way that Gwent works and added a bunch of stuff. I didn't pay enough attention to it though.
Anyway, this Steam still has a lot of muscle.
Totally, yeah. I mean,
But they see the writing on the wall.
and
at
I
the
don't
same
know
time.
what their active user base is. I think last year or in 2016, maybe it was reported like Valve kind of said it was around 125 million.
Wow, that's a lot of people.
Yeah, and you wonder how much it's grown since then. Because Fortnite just announced that they hit 200 million. So
200 million active, or what?
I think it was total.
Across all platforms? Or on their
that was-
launcher?
that was probably total,
Okay.
if I had to guess.
Yeah.
But keep in mind that you still create an Epic account on consoles.
You sure do.
But big places, big publishers will have one or two can't miss games for people, right? That'll drive them into their launcher, right? So like EA will have things like, usually has things like Battlefield.
Every
Right.
one of these examples right now is like a qualified, like, well, if Fallout 76 had been good, it would have been this.
Well,
Like,
but-
Battlefield
right.
was this 2
But
years
like Call
ago.
of Duty, like Activision can push people
Yeah.
into
Yes.
off Steam to
But
go.
I
get
also
that
like Call of Duty on PC has always been kind of a weird
Sure,
thing.
that's another piece of that.
Well,
puzzle,
it
right?
doesn't always. I mean, like in the modern era, like that game
Consoles
is
have
a console
definitely,
shooter, and
Well, I mean, I Blackout is
Yeah.
appealing though. In this
And yeah,
one.
so that's the thing is like, they picked the right year to take it
Yeah.
off Steam
Totally.
also, which is
Yeah, it's interesting. I mean, I'm glad they would give developers more money.
Yeah.
It's a high threshold to get to.
Yeah.
But yeah,
It's just, what if these changes have been across the board, maybe?
Steam. Do you guys
Or
know,
started at a much lower threshold or something,
if you put your game on Steam, do they cover all cost for hosting and distribution?
all that stuff is
So you don't have to pay rent
exactly.
or anything.
That's
right?
that's part of that. Why they get their cut.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is because they're dealing with patch distribution and just all the
Bandwidth
CDN
and-
costs and like all that other stuff. You're uploading the game to them and saying like, cool, take your cut and get my game out to the people.
Okay, and they manage the form. They pay for like, do you know if it's a la carte? Like, hey, you get forums and
No, everything gets a
it-
forum.
everything
yeah,
gets it?
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Whether you want it or not, you're gonna get the community stuff of Steam.
Okay.
Brad, you're right. I couldn't imagine a lower percent.
No, certainly not.
I did my math. I couldn't.
No.
It's
Yeah.
impossible.
You know who?
Well, whatever. Just to talk about the Steam stuff just a little bit more. Like this is a competitive move for them to like you say like, oh man, I can't believe they're fucking over the indies like this. It's like, I mean, yes, but also like this isn't designed to. This isn't some altruistic move for them.
No,
this is
definitely
like,
not. This
hey,
is-
we want to shore up.
This is cold hard
No,
business.
if it was
Yeah.
altruistic, it'd be to help the indies too.
They
Yeah.
see
I
they,
thi-
they
yeah.
see there see the writing on the wall.
I feel like if it were altruistic, there would be something in the inverse that's like, hey, it's the percentage is $5.95 until you hit $10,000 or something
Right.
like that.
Yeah.
Hey, until you make your money back on this thing, we don't care. Like, we don't care about your small game
Yeah.
until you start selling $20,000
Yeah,
worth.
or hey, we're just gonna cover costs plus a little bit.
Yeah.
To
Or they would use the money from like, we're okay. The money we get from the guys who do sell 50 million will cover your cost, basically. So we can do 5. If you're only going to make $4,000 on a game, like, you're okay. You don't need to pay 30%, which maybe would lead to a weird versioning of huge games being
Right,
like every
yeah.
$10,000 they
like, oh, here's a sequel.
Right.
We've
Right.
taken this one off sale.
Right. But yeah, I think that if that would be the altruistic way to do it, would be to make a low threshold. That's
Yeah.
like until you hit $1 million, you have a lower percentage.
Yeah, I mean, if you thought Steam had a problem of like getting flooded with
It's
weird
already
games now,
broken.
like if they suddenly were like, and we're not gonna
Yeah.
like charge you.
It's hard to imagine it getting worse.
Sure.
It's hard.
Yeah.
There's a lot of stuff coming out on Steam
A lot of
every single day.
a lot of bad stuff.
Anyway, this morning, now Epic Games is launching their store, which probably the easiest thing to see coming in the world, considering they have 200 million people who have now made accounts.
So they
lot
have
of
had their
eyeballs.
launcher already,
Yeah,
right?
this is effectively the launcher is just going to be upgraded into a full-on storefront.
Remember when they gave away Shadow Complex on PC for
Yeah.
free in their launcher? Like, I feel like that was the point
Yeah.
where like, oh,
Yeah.
they're gonna do something eventually.
and that was
And-
even before you knew Fortnite was going to be the biggest thing in the world.
and I
but
think
it was
like,
still
kind
obvious
of
what they were
forgot.
doing.
Yeah, it was obvious what they were doing, but then everyone forgot about it,
Yeah.
and then Fortnite quietly, well, not quietly, but Fortnite became the biggest game in the world.
Yeah, unexpectedly.
And then you're like, oh well, yeah, Tencent. Also, yeah, I guess at some point they'll launch the store, and here we go.
Yeah.
8812.
And yeah, their terms are dramatically more developer friendly than just about every other service on the planet. The flat standard split is 88 for developers, 12 for them.
Oh, it's not just Epic stuff. Okay.
Well, so it does get more interesting there. If you are selling on their storefront and using Unreal Engine, they also waive the 5% royalty they charge for the engine.
Okay,
So
I see.
it is a multi-pronged approach to get people using their tech and selling on their store
Interesting.
as
So and
aggressively
they're
as they
basically
can.
saying like, hey, you can sell your UE game
Yeah.
on Steam, don't stop, but
Right,
we
but
get
if
our
you-
5% cut
Yeah.
out of those sales.
Yeah.
but not these ones.
Use discount code Epic Store
Right,
when you,
yeah.
when you
It's
come
so
here.
smart. They're making just so much fucking money off of Fortnite that they can afford
Yeah.
to not.
Well, they took on a round of funding not that
Yeah.
long ago.
Yeah.
They cut was it the rate for people selling tools in the Unreal Engine store.
Oh right, yeah.
They retroactively gave everybody like a better split on that stuff.
I
Which,
thought they waived
or
some
maybe
kind of-
maybe it was a full wave of like the split is now you just get it.
I thought they also lowered. I could be making this up, but the
Unreal,
license.
Unreal Engine terms, because keep in mind, like Unity came up big and was starting to eat into, at least what I heard was that they was eating into Unreal Engine's business a little bit, to where Unreal kind of like then they were like, oh, we're going to adjust our terms to be way more competitive and get people back into our section of things. for smaller games. You know, a lot of big studios were still like Unreal houses and
Right.
stuff, but you know, you started to see, and you still see, plenty of games using Unity. So I think it was more of a move back then to try to maybe kind of eat into that a little bit, or stop that
Yeah,
kind of erosion.
I thought it was. I thought I had read something that was similar to what I had said about Steam, where the threshold for when you have to pay
and that was that's,
royalties.
yeah, exactly. Like they basically said, like, hey, if you're making a thing and it doesn't clear this much money,
Yeah,
like whatever,
whatever.
yeah.
And that was pretty low, wasn't it?
The threshold.
Yeah,
I don't remember.
I forget.
But that's interesting.
Yeah, Tim Sweeney
Competition in
Yeah.
that marketplace is
Yeah.
also very good.
Yeah, and then Tim Sweeney gave an interview to Game Informer where he makes it pretty clear this is just a competitive move, or whatever. I'm sure they also feel good about doing the right thing, but he says the 70-30 split was a breakthrough more than a decade ago with the advent of Steam, the Apple App Store, and Google Play. But today, digital software stores have grown into a $25 billion business worldwide. Yet the economies of scale have not benefited developers. In our analysis, stores are marking up their costs 300 to 400%. We simply aim to give developers a better deal.
And he breaks down, I think it was in the GameIndustry.biz interview, where he broke down some of those numbers a little bit based on like what they saw with Fortnite, which is a game that is consistently updated. It's like a 32 gig install, and running the numbers on how much it costs them to just deliver that game.
Yeah, they would
scale.
They would have a bunch of firsthand data.
Yeah, so
on
I
that
think they
stuff.
looked at that and said, like, actually, we're
Here's why.
profitable at 8812.
Yeah.
So like I think the thing that has always been worrisome to me, and I'm sure other people probably here too, is distributed rights management for games, right? At some point, you are now trusting that 7 services will maintain your rights, will maintain your copy of a game, will not shut down suddenly, and then you can't play this game on this service. Or when it's always the fear of buying digitally, right? Is okay now
some,
that
like parts of this are kind of out of my control.
out of my control. Like if this thing lasts for 2 years and I've sunk $500 into it, and suddenly you're like, okay, we're shutting down.
Or even like big picture, it's like, okay, a physical disc I can pass on to my family or whatever. Digital libraries become.
And it's kind of the weird thing about as games have become more connected online and more server driven and live games and all this other stuff, is that's weirdly made me feel better about all that stuff, because when those games shut down, the discs will be useless too. So at some point with a lot of those games, like I don't really care if it's physical or not.
Some of
because
them,
like the entire running of it is dependent on services.
A lot of them, but these are a lot of single player
but
things.
totally, yeah.
that-
But I mean, but they're even half the single player games that come out at this point are like what's on the disc is half the game. Like it's basically an unfinished version of the game that gets a 20 gig patch.
Absolutely, but there are things like, on Steam, can I play offline? Can I play in offline mode without having to do a rights check? Like, can I play on a plane, right? Can I boot this thing up? And a lot of the games I was playing, let's say, on the plane, are single player games. Like Exapunks doesn't need to play multiplayer, right? Or let's say like Moonlighter doesn't need to get online, but sometimes it does need to get online to verify I own it. So that kind of stuff gets weird.
Yeah.
And then when over the course of the last 15 years, when you see a server shut down, let's say, what happens to your library? Do you feel I feel okay about putting stuff into Epic because they're a huge company, but I don't know how they feel about this storefront. It's also not the Epic I grew up with. It is the Tencent Epic, right? So it's interesting. I think diversity and competition is good in the marketplace. It leads to better rates. It leads to more competition. I think spreading out where you put your games in a thing that you have zero control over in terms of rights and rights management, refunds, and all that kind of stuff gets weird. I'm of two minds about it. I think the competition will lead to better things, like better refund policies, because the best one should win. But also, I think it's a little weird.
Totally. Yeah.
Yeah.
And they've said that they will have a refund policy. I guess they're hand curating the games that will appear on the store at the moment. There's like no formal submission process, but they're looking to open it up next year. So I actually updated the Epic game launcher over the weekend. And opted into their beta, which suddenly flips it from a Fortnite launcher to you look at it and go like, oh, you could fit way more games in here with the way you've built this thing. And I think on the second, a couple days ago, they made that like the default experience for new installs. So they are not currently showing other games, and it's not a full-on store yet. But like you look at that thing and go like, okay, yeah, you've got enough features, and these pages clearly seem like they're built to handle a whole lot more.
What is that Epic? What is non-Microsoft Epic published aside from Fortnite?
Paragon, which came and went.
Kind of the new Unreal Tournament, except that kind of died on the vine.
Okay.
It's still technically
Yeah.
there's still a community making things for it, and maybe when maybe someday Maybe someday when Epic makes enough money, they'll be able to hire some people to work on UT instead of shuttling them all off to Fortnite land. But
I think I saw a 10-cent logo on Venom. I mean, I feel like, I think I saw a 10-cent logo on my shampoo. I mean, they are just
I think they're like, what are they, the second biggest company in the world or something like that?
unbelievable.
Yeah.
uh-huh.
It's a big deal. Like, this is probably the biggest threat so far to the dominance
So
of Steam.
you got Itch, you have Steam.
Well, like Itch and GOG kind of have their own different
you have
angle.
GOG.
Like
well,
they both, like GOG is, like started out with a lot of old games.
but they do definitely have
Itch-
recent
Oh
games.
yeah, they've moved into that space.
Yeah.
But like they started out as like, oh, we're bringing a bunch of old games back you can't buy anywhere else. Like Itch is super niche indie stuff.
I think
Like this is like, 800-pound gorilla entering the room.
well that they are moving outside of just Epic published stuff is pretty big.
But it's just it's the built-in user base. Like they are instantly a
Yeah.
full-on competitor to Steam in the
And-
way that none of these other services actually are.
And so then you have to wonder, like, what does Discord, who just launched a store, think about that. I mean, Discord has plenty of users also, and Discord actually also has a 10-cent investment. Now that I think about it,
It's got their fingers in a lot of pies.
yeah, they do. They do. And so far, Discord's games have been like, it's a lot of indie stuff. It's
Yeah.
not a ton of like big top ticket, big tier $60 things.
And they're basically going the Game Pass route. They're basically pay us a flat fee and you'll just have access to a bunch of good
totally
games.
yeah.
it's weird.
But not everything on the service is part of that
Right,
package. So
right.
it's not necessarily, they are still looking to sell
Yeah,
games on
yeah.
top of that. And then you've got Microsoft, which, Phil Spencer is still out there over and over again saying, like, I care very much about the Windows Store
Yeah.
and making it work for people and all this other stuff. Like, now you've got this on top of that. And you're just like, well, what the fuck? Like, the store is built into the OS and
Yeah.
it's now, like, going to be probably number 3 or 5, or like it's even more of an uphill battle there to make people care about that thing.
And I think this all gets extremely more interesting as you move into games as a service and games that are eventually getting to streaming without consoles, because you still have to get rolled up into a platform like Xbox One or PS4 outside of the PC. But I think in the next 5 years or so, that won't be the case as you'll get the Epic launcher on your TV, as you get like this stuff that is distributing games on the TV outside of consoles.
Right.
So I bet it's also ramping up for that kind of world.
Things are about to get buck wild on the PC.
Or not. They will probably stay kind of the same.
I think it's going to be pretty chaotic as like winners and losers start emerging out of these kind of storefront war.
You'll see some games only launch on Epic's store.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
I think for me, the anomaly has always been Steam as a unified storefront and a game manager. Like, that to me was the anomaly for a while of
billion-dollar business idea, a launcher for all these launchers.
It's called Discord.
I mean,
It literally does that.
can it pull in everything?
It
Okay,
pulls in
then-
your Steam library.
Alright, they
like
already-
it's
31. I mean, can you launch it out of there?
Yes. I mean,
Okay.
it launches Steam and then launches it.
Okay.
But yes.
Yeah. That's kind
you
of.
can use Launchbox in a big box mode. You can pull in all your games.
Launchbox is the worst.
Launchbox is all right. Oh, Launchbox.
That's the
is
thing you paid for?
Launchbox is adorable.
Turned it into like a home arcade.
Yeah, you don't have to. You don't have to. I mean, if you want like big box mode with the good themes and stuff, I like Launchbox.
Seems like a lot of work.
It seems like a lot of work.
Hey, the best things are a lot of work.
Yeah.
No, disagree.
No way.
That's
RetroArch is way less work.
Ordering
It's
pizza.
way easier.
Easy.
Launchbox. You can get RetroArch right in there. It uses
don't-
Launchbox cores,
But
or RetroArch cores.
Yeah, everything will. But
Yeah.
like that, the whole point is like their own front end is actually better at that stuff
You want
than.
to look at your games and beautiful. You want little movies that play.
No, I do not.
You want to access your database of movies and thumbnails.
I absolutely
and
do not.
stills,
It'll
and
pull thumbnails
play
and
a
it'll pull box art.
Sweet Legend of
and
Zelda montage.
I
that
do
some
not
guy
want
cut,
that.
with,
Absolutely not.
Some Smash
I
Mouth.
want a
under
list
there.
of games. I want to know
You
which
can do
one
that-
is the
you can
one
do
that's
that
in
too.
English.
You can do that too. You do whatever you want. It's appealing.
And it's done.
I want
Instead-
full. I want full control.
I want something that's gonna like have the box art that differentiates. I want something that actually pulls from a good database and uses the right box art for these versions of these games and specifies what's what instead of
database stuff
9
is
different
fun.
things that just say The Legend of Zelda, and it's up to me to go like, I think this is the US one. Is this PRG 1 or 0? Is this which one? What is this?
You can customize whatever you want.
Oh God,
It's good.
just show me the file names.
What do the numbers mean?
It's going to get crazy.
It's already crazy.
Yeah. It's going to get weirder. Speaking of weird, Did you guys see this PlayStation Classic thing?
The keyboard thing?
Yeah.
Oh,
So
dude.
Oh, sure.
So that thing.
So it fixes it, Jeff. Now it's great.
The PlayStation Classic came out. It's got USB ports for its controllers, and it turns out some USB keyboards, but not nearly all. If you plug them into those ports and just hit the escape key, you get a big old list of emulator options.
What?
That kind of fixes most of the problems with the thing.
Well,
Wow.
no,
Or a lot
I
of
didn't know
it's-
that.
Like
Shit.
it still is going to come down to can that thing perform? Because
Sure.
if it was that easy, then they would have put the 60 hertz versions on there to begin
People
with.
are saying Tekken works.
Okay.
Like that's the early word.
Like,
I
but
mean,
like
But then
works
why?
and runs consistently
The stuff
because
is-
it already, if it was the Digital Foundry teardown of that, of like going through game by game, the PlayStation Classic is really amazing because they're picking out all the stuff of like, here's why this is actually a terrible fucking device.
okay, maybe we'll see. I don't know. I mean, this literally came out like at 2 a.m. last night.
yeah.
So somebody tweeted that.
It's
Hey,
like I
hey,
know
try
you, I
this.
know you can flip it to like, hey, run this shit in NTSC and run
Yeah.
this shit at 60 hertz.
Yeah.
But I like getting those games to perform consistently is like a little more complicated than that.
So does that mean both ROMs are on there, or both ISOs are on there?
So I think you can technically run some PAL discs in NTSC.
Oh.
I'm not sure if they put multiple versions of the games on there.
Right.
That would be bizarre. Because that would be like, why would you do that?
Unless you're, like,
unless
doing
you're like in
regional.
development and you're like, okay, we're developing this thing, we're keeping all this stuff on here because we want to see where the performance gets to.
Yeah.
But to leave that on post release would be bizarre.
As Digital Foundry did a hardware teardown.
Yeah.
Did they say?
Well, I
how
don't know
much,
if they ripped it apart, but they know what's inside it.
Did they know how much storage space is on it?
I don't think no. That's
Okay. That's what I want to know.
I need to get a USB keyboard.
Yeah, so it is, again, like this is all happening like in the last few hours. People are still trying to figure it out. Polygon said that they tried, where is it? We weren't able to access the hidden menus using Apple, Logitech, or Razer keyboards. So you're basically going to have to plug in every keyboard you can find and hope one of them works.
I've got a really shitty low rent keyboard on my desk. Yeah,
Wait.
or don't buy the thing. Like that's actually.
Why?
Now I kind of want.
Wait, why would that work?
Because they just left
it's-
that accessible.
it's
No,
American-
no. Like, why would they should be sending the same key code
Right.
to the.
Oh, why would it work with some keyboards and not others?
What was the command
Uh,
again? To
It's just
Escape.
escape. You just hit the escape key.
That's
what?
yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe it's
It's like
the way-
probably a limited USB driver that is only ringing up.
I would think maybe the power that's getting sent out of that USB port. Maybe some of those keyboards
Oh.
take a different power or
like
something.
a higher draw.
Yeah. I
Oh,
don't-
sure.
And they're just like the keyboard isn't working.
Could be.
It's probably a
Sounds
driver
like
thing,
Razer.
if I had to guess. USB
yeah.
devices are pretty finicky
I guess-
about.
yeah, maybe.
But keyboard
Stuff like
drivers
that.
are usually pretty generic at this point. So but
Yeah, that's
I don't
weird.
know. I got a really shitty keyboard hooked up at my desk that seems like the sort of keyboard that would work with this thing. So.
Right. Well, Apple keyboards are pretty bare bones too.
But Apple
they got all
keyboards
those
are weird.
They got all those weird special
They
keys.
got extra
and
buttons.
That's
man.
true.
They
They're
ain't
always
cool.
trying to do weird non-standard stuff. But
Oh, Apple.
let's see.
Like
yeah.
multiple save states are available
Yeah,
through
multiple
that
save
menu.
states per game.
Uh,
You can change the region. There's a reset error thread where people are kind of messing around with the stuff, and they say that Tekken 3 seems to run at full speed when
Okay.
you set it to NTSC.
Well, then that's
Um,
bizarre because like the only reason you would do that is because of like performance problems.
Or they're just
Or
fucked
you just
up.
lazy.
Or
Well,
they're
not
just
lazy.
fucked up.
Lazy is not the right word, but like you
Yeah.
you didn't give it the
Never
attention.
underestimate the power of just fucking up.
It's always an option.
Yeah.
Like they may,
Or,
have-
you know,
it
or
just
just
may
like-
just be a massive oversight.
I saw some people say that, hey, maybe this was done to have it be more accessible in more regions because a lot of those PAL discs are multi-language.
Oh.
So they'll be like M3 or
Yeah.
M5 versions.
I could
or something. It'll be
100% see them say, making that call of like,
Yeah.
okay, we cover more territories with this.
Yeah.
Nobody will notice the performance difference. Let's just do it.
Yeah.
So
So
I have bad news for them.
What?
everyone noticed.
Everyone
know.
noticed.
No, I wonder. You guys live in your little weird
Yeah.
video game.
No, dude,
circle.
like-
Yeah,
I don't
we're
know.
always
No, the
spending all
narrative-
this time
talking
configuring
about-
all
yeah.
these emulators and all this other stuff,
Doing
and
your weird-
building
the narrative
front ends
around that
around
thing.
it, and paying
No,
for front
nobody.
ends.
Yeah. what are you
Tekken Twitter
doing?
was really mad.
Yeah, the narrative around that device in general is extremely negative. Like everywhere I've
It was
looked.
like it came out of a butt.
Oh.
Hey, sometimes beautiful things can come from a butt.
Yeah.
like
This was not
Like
one of
me.
like they tweeted out like the launch trailer for that thing, which is kind of cool. Like
Yeah.
it's a fancy big animated trailer made out of like models from all those old games, which is kind of neat. And like the Twitter replies were just nothing but people saying "fuck you, this thing is worthless.
Oh boy.
I'm not touching this."
Good
There's
job.
options in
Good
here.
job,
I
Matt
don't know if
Kessler.
you can change it, but there are options for it rings up what is plugged into those ports.
Oh, yeah?
Like it says port 1 device, standard SCPH 1080, which is, I assume, the model number for those weird USB controllers.
Yeah.
So maybe there will be some kind of DualShock USB support.
But like, why would they do that unless there was a method to put new games on it? Like, there's no reason for them to do that
Play Metal Gear Solid with the DualShock.
unless you're getting wild. You know, I guess the other thing is like,
Only play like the one game on there that supports it.
but like, you know, are they going to sell a DualShock specifically just so you can play that?
And
like,
sell a
like
little
who
USB
knows?
stick you can
And,
just plug
like,
in
Ridge
there.
Racer?
Yeah, maybe
Yeah.
maybe they'll sell more games on some kind of USB thing or something.
Brook
Who knows?
converters actually work with it.
Really?
That's been tested.
Yeah.
Can you plug in? Really?
Yep.
Huh. So I wonder at that point, like, if that
If
works
it'll
on there.
enable like
Yeah.
Rumble and shit like
Right.
that.
Huh.
Yeah, that was gonna be the thing I was wondering. Or like, could you just like, hey, you know, you can plug a PS3 controller into it over USB? Does that do anything? Because that would be another way to get that functionality.
Right. Maybe. I guess we'll find out shortly. People are probably going to try everything they can.
Yeah, I'll find that thing of wherever the fuck it got tossed, and
I think it's on
I think
the
it was
desk.
under
plug
a
it
jar.
back in.
Under
Yeah,
a jar of
okay,
water.
yeah.
Yeah, it's a weird thing.
Maybe we'll see if we can get that working for the show on Friday and just like dig through some of
Yeah.
those menus a little bit.
Yeah, it'd be fun to mess around with.
Hit escape on a bunch of keywords.
Yeah. I'm
I'm
doing that all the time anyway.
The big news thing of the week hasn't happened yet. It's the Game Awards on Thursday night,
Oh.
where all kinds of stuff will probably get announced.
They did say
been
that-
teasers,
They
right?
did say that Epic would have more to say.
Yes,
about
Epic's going to
the-
talk more about their store there. Rocksteady said we are not going to announce our new game there.
But they also said it's not a
So there's-
Superman game.
Yes, they did come out and say it's not a Superman game.
Yeah.
But I bet that
That's
doesn't
fine.
disqualify a Justice League game.
or a Superboy game.
Super Dog.
Yeah, wait, what's the
Uh,
Buster?
Like a thing that
Sure.
Superman is a part of, but that doesn't say Superman on the box,
Crypto?
probably.
Yeah.
Could fit that. Either way, they're not going to say what it is there, so
All right,
it doesn't matter.
Whatever.
Any hopes and dreams?
I hope the
Teen
good,
Titans.
the good video games win. You mean for the awards or
Yeah, for the
the
announcements.
No. Epic. I hope Epic has good prices on their store.
Okay.
I wonder if they're gonna say like, what was that J.J. Abrams game that they still have not talked about?
Spy Jinx?
Spy Jinx.
Spy Jinx.
Spy Borg's a different thing.
I don't know.
Have any companies committed to announcing other than Epic?
Probably.
I saw there was some sort of vague Avengers announcement, but it wasn't
That was
clear if
for
it
a
was
movie trailer.
Okay, yeah, I didn't know if it was movie or game related.
Well, yeah, I wonder like if they would show, because that's the other thing that I think everyone thought was going to be at E3 was that Square, like that Avengers game. That maybe something like that could show up.
They
Brutal
still-
Legend 2.
Yeah,
There you
now's
go.
the time.
They're gonna get Jack Black out again on that. Carry him out.
NetherRealm still has not announced a game.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's rumors floating around all over the
Yeah,
place.
That's
yeah.
the
Who
thing I
knows-
would want the most.
Who knows
right now.
how trustworthy that stuff is? We'll find out in a couple days.
They still do trending gamer. Did they
No.
get
I
rid of
believe
that?
they changed it to best
Content
content.
creator of the
Yeah,
year.
content
I think is
creator.
what they renamed it
Okay.
They're
to.
trying to get rid of the trending gamer curse.
Yeah.
Good luck.
Yeah. Did the entirety of this Fallout bag thing happen since the last podcast? I feel like this has been happening
like-
for 8 months now.
We
We-
talked about
we
the
talked about it
original
on the-
thing.
Beast.
I know, yeah, I know you
Fast.
did. I feel like it happened since last week's Bombcast. Anyway, there's a new update as of this morning.
Oh,
Where
what's
are we at
going
now?
on?
They're going to make the canvas bags and distribute them.
To people who bought it already?
Yes. to
They
anybody-
found
people
the
who bought
material.
Yeah, somehow they were able to secure enough canvas.
Wait, how do you verify that you have it?
Oh, had you guys not seen this?
No.
Yeah.
Well, they
just-
already had a process where you like had to send
To get your
purchase
atoms.
to get your atoms. So I assume it would just be a.
So now you're coming out on top. You got 500 atoms and the bag.
That's the power
Who's
of the,
that?
that's
No,
the power of the
2
people.
bags.
I
Yeah.
envision it coming with like a fucking like handwritten note that says, "Here's your fucking bag."
I hope you're happy. My
Yeah.
children aren't gonna eat.
There's like
So-
a head in it.
To quickly recap, they sold a $200 edition of this game that was advertised to come with a canvas bag.
It came with a nylon
the
bag.
thing
Nylon
shipped,
bag.
and it was a flimsy nylon bag instead, and all of their messaging around people being unhappy was
Deal with that.
poorly
His
advised.
first email was shipped. We couldn't afford it.
Let's say. Yeah, it was too expensive to make, and we're not going to do anything about it, was the gist of their first response.
Great. And then they had to apologize for like, that's
That
an
was an
that's an
independent
external firm.
contract.
It's not.
Yeah. Then they started offering 500 atoms, which is the in-game currency for 76 to people that were mad, and that apparently is kind of not much.
No.
Not enough for a canvas
You
bag.
You couldn't even get a canvas bag in game with that much.
Then it came out that a bunch of influencers had been provided with a nice looking canvas bag for Fallout 76 at some event.
Oh God.
So pictures of that were circulating, and people were even angrier. And now the latest tweet from Bethesda support. We are finalizing manufacturing plans for replacement canvas bags for the Fallout 76 Power Armor Edition. If you purchased the CE, please visit URL and submit a ticket by January 31st, 2019. We'll arrange to send you a replacement as soon as the bags are ready.
Fucked up so bad.
How do you?
And on top of that, the game is fucking shit. Like, can you imagine? Like, everything that's going on, like, just, can you fucking imagine? Like, it's not bad enough that the game has all these issues. Like, suddenly there's all this self-inflicted dumb shit around the edges of it. What a clusterfuck. Can you,
Yeah.
oh
You
my
figure
God.
that you could get one thing right. Like
The canvas
there's
bag.
so many things.
Do people like the
that
helmet?
you can make the game good. No, apparently the helmet's too small for
Oh.
like most people's heads.
Yeah.
That thing's $200.
$200.
When did $200 become the accepted price for the
Call of
fancy
Duty,
edition?
right?
Halo 3 Legendary
think
was how much?
200?
How much
The
was
helmet?
that? I don't know.
I don't
How much
know.
was that?
Wow.
How much was that not wearable helmet?
What was it? Wasn't the night vision before that though?
Yeah, that
The
was.
big RC car.
Yeah,
No,
the-
Night Vision would have been after
Night
the Halo
Vision
3. That was
was-
Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2.
Is
And then
there?
3 with
Yeah.
the car.
Yeah.
Okay.
Is there an easy resource to see how much things cost at
Black
launch?
Ops was the car.
Black Ops.
Black
yeah,
Ops
yeah,
was-
that was
yeah.
yeah.
Because you know,
The
like
car was lame. The night vision goggles were a good lame.
They did a drone with Black Ops 2, I think.
Yeah.
A really cheap drone.
Dudes
They
love
did.
drones.
They did.
That's what I
played with
hear. Yeah, it's hard to find prices for stuff that came out like 10 years ago.
I still have 2 like AR Parrots drones that it was like one of the early iPhone flown little remote control things because THQ put out Homefront and they sent out drones for it, and I never took it out of the box. It was just like, oh, cool. And I found, like, I was cleaning over the weekend. I was like, oh, right, these fucking things. I wonder if you can even download that app anymore, or if that company. I feel like that company probably went out of business or got
Parrot? I
sold
think
9,000
Parrot-
times.
Yeah, I think they're so.
Are they still- okay,
You
cool.
can start
Alright,
your own
alright.
pizza delivery service.
Well, great.
Yeah.
I'm in.
Yeah.
You can try.
Maybe.
I bet Parrot was pretty popular. I mean, I don't know much about drones.
Like, they were popular then, but I
Yeah,
feel like
I
I've
may-
not
I
heard
don't
the
know.
name in a long
Yeah.
time.
They're
but-
still kicking around.
Okay. Well, maybe I'll bring one of those in and we can strap fucking guns to it.
When I was
Yeah.
at when I was at Maker Faire, drone racing seems fucking rad. Like people racing drones in a circle
like
and
watching
then
video of it
crashing and
and
stuff seems cool.
It's a very Red Bull thing, like Red Bull sponsored drone races or whatever.
But it's fun to watch.
Yeah.
And those things either last like 2 minutes as they all make it around, or 5 seconds as they all take off and get caught in the net and then spin up in the net.
I want like a full-on drone combat thing where the person flying the drone is in some sort of like car or something, so they can move around, and you're trying to like take out the other pilot, basically. With
Like in
your
real
drone.
life?
Yeah,
With a drone?
Yeah. Maybe we could get like, I don't know, prisoners to do it or something.
Okay.
Put them on
Yeah.
an
Cool.
island.
Yeah, all right, I'm in.
Yeah.
Okay.
Uh,
10 cent will
in,
make
in
it
the
up.
drone racing though, it's still like
Just
humans
10%.
controlling.
Yes.
But they're all in like their cameras in their
Oh,
goggles,
okay.
so they're all like
That's
goggled
kind
up.
of neat then.
It is
That's
kinda
the only
neat.
thing that's neat. Because I was gonna say like at some point it's just like, okay, I don't know. People have been doing fucking
Sure.
like slot car races for 100 years. This is just the advanced version of that.
Absolutely, it
I
is
want
the
the drones
advanced.
flying themselves. Like I want the people having to program smart, like Exapunk style smart AI.
That is
like 100
interesting, yeah.
permutations. We don't know what the track's gonna be
Yeah.
like till we get there, and
Yeah.
you can't code
Okay.
once you get there.
Yes.
That's always what I wanted from BattleBots.
Yeah, totally. Like I don't want
Yeah.
people controlling the battle bots. I want the battle bots controlling the battle bots,
Those
and then
same-
turning the battle bots on the humans.
Yeah. After one reigns supreme at the
Yeah.
end of the tournament, it's
It is
like,
then set.
I am the
set
most
free.
powerful.
Yeah.
They also have that kind of stuff at Maker Faire that is like you program your thing and then let it do a thing,
Yeah.
but not the drones are fucking fast.
Yeah, they are super
They're the
fast.
small ones, and it's fun to watch. The BattleBots are also very fun to watch.
Yeah.
My son loves watching the BattleBot stuff as like a thing with just a giant saw blade that they all have like giant like wrenches on them before they get in there, so nothing can move. And then you just see these guys who have clearly worked with these robots quite a bit. Go like this as the, like really put their hand in there slowly and wince as they remove the thing and like run out of the arena as this thing just gets up and starts flipping robots around. It's a blast. What'd you find, Brad?
In regard to what?
He's just over there looking at he's looking at
Drones.
Tumblr porn while you still can.
Trying to Sorry, I'm trying to get a jump start on emails.
Oh, I thought. Yeah, sorry. I thought you were looking up information on something.
Like how much stuff cost.
Oh,
at
I gave
launch.
up on that.
Okay.
The Halo thing was 130.
Okay.
Halo 3
Legendary
helmet edition.
And that was supposed to just cover
It was
the
100,
box,
130 back then.
Yeah.
It wasn't supposed
It
to
was
be.
Yeah,
supposed to
no,
be.
they never-
They did not build
never-
it as a wearable helmet.
I believe wasn't it didn't it become known as like a cat helmet?
Yeah, it did.
Yeah, because it was a
A
good
lot
size
of good
for
pictures of cats
it was,
wearing
it
that.
was a
Halo
good size
helmet.
for
Oh
cats.
my gosh,
That
I
was-
want one.
Yeah.
And an orange peel.
What
Yeah.
about will it work for fat cats? That's what I have.
You mean like
It
rich
might
people?
still.
Fat
It might,
cats.
yeah.
There we go.
it might-
Hang on. Cats wearing Master Chief helmet.
It was heavy.
Yeah, that doesn't seem good for a cat's neck.
Yeah.
My cat's pretty dumb.
Long enough for a
Actually.
photo.
Yeah,
but
exactly. Long enough for him to be like, "Why?" and
Yeah.
you'd be like, "Yay!"
Not really much out there,
Ugh.
surprisingly.
Well, send me one. I'll
I'm not
I'll
surprised.
I'll put
You
them
got
all
any-
on the internet.
you got any
I'll fill
pictures
that
of-
void that Tumblr's
Yeah.
getting rid of with the
Yeah.
porn.
Got any pictures of your cat wearing a Master Chief helmet? Send them to bombcast@giantbomb.com.
Yes.
Well, that'll get flagged in the automated.
Yeah.
Please make sure it is 1080p so we can use that as a
No
thumbnail.
female presenting Halo helmets.
Yes, definitely not. First email comes in from one Ben Howard.
Oh.
Oh,
Oh.
hey.
Hey crew, great to see you all last night. This
Yeah.
email is entitled Prime Rib and Touchscreens.
Delicious.
Was listening to the cast this morning, and after the conversation about McDonald's touchscreens, I thought I should send you this important breaking news from the UK.
Oh yeah.
Is this the poop thing?
It's
Yeah,
the
it's
poop
probably the
thing.
poop.
No.
Dude,
Oh.
everything
poop.
has poop
It's
on
not poop.
it.
Yeah,
it's
it's
poo.
Poo.
Okay, it's British.
My favorite thing about this being a British story is that it just says poo everywhere.
Did a poo.
Poo found on every McDonald's touchscreen
No, that was a
tested.
British thing.
Yeah. They
Why did we make it poop and they call it poo? What did we do
I
that made
wonder.
it poop?
Because we have to be bigger and better in everything.
Is it because
Poop is more fun
we
to
go
say.
poo poo
true.
and then we shortened it to poop?
Poop ooh.
Poo poo.
That's how we say it over
Poo
here.
poo.
they-
Poop.
Ooh.
What do
I
they
think
call
I'd much,
farting?
but I think I
Poop?
much rather would go take a
Ooh.
poop, or I stepped in poop and then I stepped in
I
poo.
stepped in poop.
Yeah.
Poop.
Pope.
Poop. Do they call farts fars?
Yes.
Cool.
No, coo.
Wait, okay. Do they call pee peep?
Yes.
Oh, that'd be flipping it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's what Peep Show is.
They call it no. It's
I
a wee.
Poo and
see.
peep.
You do a wee. I think. Is,
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
But
we
you
have
can
to
also
call
take
it a
the
wee.
piss, but that's something else.
Yeah. No. If you're taking the piss, that's a different thing.
I stepped in sick.
Ew.
Ugh.
They took samples from a bunch of different new touchscreens that have just been rolled out, so they
New
haven't
touchscreens.
even had time to be properly
Oh,
defiled
so they get
yet.
pooped in the factory.
One of the professors of
Just somebody pooping on me. That's like,
Yeah.
I gotta get these ready for McDonald's.
Wait. Said all these touch. Have these touchscreens been to the poop factory yet?
yeah, no, not yet.
got to
It's
apply.
a living.
Got to apply.
You asked what Grimace is
protective layer.
doing, and now we know.
Did that grimace just say poop factory?
One of the professors of microbiology that conducted the survey said, "We were all surprised how much gut and fecal bacteria there was on the touchscreen machines.
Yeah.
These caused the kinds of infections that people pick up in hospitals."
Yay.
Okay,
Whoa.
test anyone in here's phone, and I'm
Yes.
sure
Yeah.
it's way worse.
100%.
100%.
Test
We're all
these
grabbing stuff on the
microphones.
subway and everything.
Has
We're
anyone
fine.
ever
That's
wiped down
my
their phone?
poo. I
Yeah.
do actually.
I do
I
when I
wipe
go
it
to
on
my
my
friend's house.
shirt.
'cause
I
she
mean,
does.
it's like
Yeah.
Cool. So now your shirt's got poo on it.
my shirt had poo on it before.
Ever since that tested culture, you remember that?
Yeah.
God damn,
What
man.
was?
It's
back
a
when-
similar test like toilet seats and
Yeah, when we
phones.
worked at the tested guys, they got a bunch of petri dishes and cultured the urinal, the office urinal, like the counter in the kitchen, like the floor, keyboards, and all this stuff. Like the two for their phones was fucking visibly grown up
Oh,
with shit. All, like,
sure.
It
Yeah.
was so much nastier
Phones are
than
gross.
so much nastier than the urinal
yeah.
by the
Yeah,
end of the
It's
week.
because the urinals get cleaned like
Yeah.
daily.
Well, I don't know about that
Well,
one, but ideally, yes.
Yeah, I'm with you. I think everything has fecal matter and gut bacteria, but also I don't want to touch a touchscreen at McDonald's anyway.
yeah.
But also,
I
like,
like
I
it.
want to
I
be
love
exposed to a certain amount
Use
of
your
poo
knuckle.
because I want
Yeah.
to build a resistance
Gotta
to
get strong
the
to
yeah,
poo.
exactly.
Uh,
And when the super poo virus comes, like we'll all fall anyway. So whatever.
I have taken to doing the antibacterial wipes on the planes
Yeah.
to try and avoid getting the
Sick, yeah.
cold or
poo?
rhinovirus or whatever. I don't mind the poo. It's the cold viruses. If the cold viruses are living in poo, then goodbye poo.
Yeah, man, like I ride BART every day. I'm immune to any disease just from touching that thing.
Do you wipe down shopping carts and such? Because they'll
What's
offer
a
like
shopping cart?
Yeah, we
like
live
if
in
you
New
go
York. Like
a
shopping.
keyboard?
Okay,
Okay.
yeah. I guess you don't.
Like,
yeah.
like my keyboard, yeah. yeah.
poop?
How do you get your produce?
That's true.
basket. I use a basket when I shop.
paper bag. Thanks. It's my world too.
Amazon.
Canvas bag.
Yeah, I know. Yeah,
It's a
Fallout canvas bag.
nylon one.
Oh, nice. Huh.
I wipe down my phone like once a week with alcohol.
I don't wipe
I do
anything
not.
down.
I do
do it
not wipe
more.
down a shopping cart.
Okay.
Because the kids push them.
Yeah.
They have to get the poo resistance.
Yeah.
They're
Yeah,
at the
they need
age
it
where
more
they
than
should
anybody.
be,
Yeah. You
Let 'em
should be
fucking
pooping
push it
on
with
those
their mouth.
kids.
I am knee deep in poo. So
Make sure they
Great.
get the regional poo though, so it's like
Yeah,
Yeah,
it can't be their
yeah,
poo. You know,
import the poo.
everyone's immune
Yeah.
to their own poo. Everyone knows that.
yeah, everybody knows that.
At my girlfriend's hospital, they have I don't know if it's a full room or if it's a smaller contraption that uses industrial strength UV light to disinfect. So she
Oh.
can throw her phone in there and like zap it with UV for 10 seconds and it comes out
The
sterile.
light cleans it?
Yeah.
How does
UV
it
light,
burn it off?
Yeah,
or-
UV light kills bacteria.
My
What?
I have one whatever the Sonic toothbrush I have.
with light.
The toothbrush head comes off, and then inside the charging base, there's a little chamber, and you could put it in there and hit a button, and UV light comes
That's
on.
so
Yeah.
cool.
And
How
cleans
does
it.
that work?
I've
Yeah.
got the sterilizer for water that when you go camping that
Yeah.
can do that.
Here,
UV
I
light.
just poo in my water.
Oh,
Can anyone
nice.
explain how UV light cleans
It-
physical things
Let's
off
talk
of things?
about electromagnetic radiation.
That means okay.
It disrupts the radiation. It disrupts the reproductive properties of the bacteria.
Does that mean the poo just shakes off once the light hits it, or
no,
like?
it means that it just can't. It's dead.
Flakes
It
off,
kills
you wanna-
it. The bacteria is dead. It can't kill you.
So it's still like the physical
Yes.
part of the poop is on there. It's just dormant.
It is dead.
It's dead poop. So
It's-
yeah,
the
it
bacteria
cannot
is dead.
live and grow inside you. The bacteria will not grow if you ingest it. So you could put it in UV light, lick your phone, fucking
Safe.
put it up
So
your
you're
ass,
still
whatever. It
eating
doesn't
poop
matter.
or whatever. It's
Yes.
just like
It's dead poop.
It's
Yes,
dead poop.
it's
Yeah, it's safe poop.
Fucking crazy.
I think that's how it works. I'm pretty sure that's.
I'd never heard that.
That's definitely how it works.
Okay.
So
if you're wearing, like, UV sunglasses?
it's safe poop.
No.
Then you can
Does
put
that
poo in your
protect
eyes.
you? Well,
No, because that just
No, that's
filters
the
out the
opposite.
UV light.
That's
That
the
means your
opposite.
eyes are getting dirtier because no UV light is getting to your eyes. Your eyes are full of
So
shit.
the
That's
UV
how
light
pink
is
eye was
cleaning
invented.
stuff.
That's how
That's
pink
how
eye was
pink
invented.
Invented. One day a mad
Yeah,
scientist.
one day UV sunglasses. They were like, let's filter all of this light,
Yeah.
and then the
Turn
next
the light
day,
into
What happens if I
Yeah.
wear gunners?
then you'll get like a really disgusting sponsorship.
could you make like a shower that is nothing but just like a chamber that you get in and it fills with UV light and you come out and you're clean?
Maybe, sure.
It doesn't wash
no,
off,
it's different
like,
on skin
dead
because
skin
that's like
and
that
it
can't.
doesn't-
you're gonna
Also,
get
yes,
cancer.
that's why you wear
Yeah.
sunblock.
Haven't you seen those things in movies where they go in and they're like?
Yeah, like when they come out
Lights.
like contaminated, like
Yeah,
a nuke
that's
went
all-
off or
that's all we're
something.
doing. That's what we're doing.
water. That's an actual thing.
Oh no, they had like
No.
the
And
beam
it's
of
not
light
water.
that passes over them, right? I don't like.
I thought that was to scan them for like bombs or something.
There
I
you
don't
go.
know.
I don't know. That's all made up anyway. We're just lying to you. This is all bullshit.
Man, I want to make like a
UV
dry
light.
shower that you just get in, you turn on a light, and you
No.
get out of there.
Have you ever heard the phrase "sunlight is the best disinfectant"?
I don't think so.
No.
It doesn't.
I
it
haven't
isn't, It
either.
isn't always. Have you never?
Really?
No.
No,
Never heard of it.
I've
Yeah,
never
like you
heard
can leave a
that.
thing out in the sun and it will clean it.
It's usually
So
used
why is
in
it
the
everything
context
outside
of
clean?
like
Like
political
lies,
shit
yeah.
and like lies.
But
or-
they have like they have systems in like some really poor third world countries where you just put bottled water out in the sun to leave it to disinfect, and then drink.
But there are dirty things outside all the time, and there
So
are
it-
in
Well,
the
it
sun.
doesn't wash off filth; it just disinfects.
Yeah,
But it
and
makes the filth dormant?
It kills the filth in a way that in some cases will make it safer.
But there are a lot of
Have you
things that
heard-
you can eat that you find outside, and they'll make you sick.
Have you heard of boiling water?
Yes, I've heard of boiling
Okay.
water
Do you know why you boil water?
to make things hot.
And if you have to boil water that you think might be polluted,
I've
to
heard
drink,
that like you can drink it once it's boiled.
Yes.
Yeah, I've heard that.
it kills
I've heard-
it kills the stuff in it, and you're
But
still
that's not
drinking.
light.
You're still it's the same idea. You're killing it. It's still in there. It's not like it boiled it away. It's still in there. It's just dead.
Right, but if you ate a turd you found on the sidewalk, you're still going to get sick, and that's been outside.
Well, not all of the turd is
just a
exposed to the
surface.
The
light.
inside of the
There's still
the
the
inside
inside
is-
of the same way the
it's
inside
like you have to
of
cook all the
ground
way to the
beef
center of
is
the
what-
chicken.
Yeah.
Okay,
Hey,
to kill all the salmonella.
Remember when we
Okay.
talked about rare steak last week and how you just make sure the outside is cooked?
Not really.
It's the opposite of that.
Okay.
Never mind.
Don't eat everything you find outside.
No.
folks,
Don't
just
eat
so
turds
know.
you find on the street.
No,
if you're
yes,
gonna
don't
eat a
do it.
turd, eat an outside turd as opposed to an inside turd.
Or at least smear the turd so there's more surface area
Yeah.
to get exposed
Really
to the light
flatten out the
first.
turd.
Really
with your,
flatten
with
it
your
out.
phone, that does a
Just
great
don't eat
job.
Yeah, your phone
Don't
can
eat
be like a
turds.
good turd knife.
if
like
you have
smooth it
to
out.
eat a turd.
You're never going to have to eat a turd unless someone's got a gun to your head.
Well,
Okay,
better-
if you're in that
better safe than
situation,
sorry.
This
You got bigger
excuse me,
problems.
sir. Just if you could hold the gun away from me, I need to spread this turd out, and we need to sit here for about 15 minutes.
I'm very hungry.
need
I've
to-
got a UV light.
Got to spread it out like
Give me a moment.
really, like a fruit roll up, like really thin.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
like a
Oh, and then you
Vegemite.
can like roll it up.
I
and
know you
then-
can wrap it around your finger.
A poop roll-up. That's what they call that.
I would like to take this opportunity to remind people that this is the Giant Bombcast. Please do not send corrections into the Giant Beescast.
Oh, this all goes to them.
because this
Yeah.
is because we're
we
right
don't
here.
have corrections.
we wreck
Yes,
their
yes,
house and leave.
We don't correct anything because
Everything
we're
is
not wrong.
Everything is right here.
Yeah.
I don't want to hear about eating
All
turds
poo all
on
the
that.
time.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Next email.
Oops, all poo.
How do I eat a turd? Well,
hell?
What want to make sure I'm doing this safely.
Is there a Yahoo Answers about?
Thanks, Ben. Ben Howard.
Yeah, thank you.
And thanks, Ben.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
Next email, I will omit his name in case he signed an NDA on this. A bomber from San Diego here.
That's a bad way to sign an email.
The San
With a
Diego
list of
Bomber.
demands.
I recently got into
You want the Padres to play every time the Padres win a game at night.
I've got this
mailing
turd
off-
here, and you've got to eat it.
I recently got into the Anthem Alpha and was completing the sign up when I got this survey. The first question struck me as insane to ask, especially given EA's recent history with loot boxes. What do you think of EA brazenly asking this? The first question on this survey is, well, the way the survey is formatted is it's a list of topics and it says, how much do you agree or disagree with each statement about games? And it's like 5 levels of agreement.
Sure. Strongly dislike.
The first item on the list, a win is a win, even if it involves hints, paying to be better, or cheats.
Oh,
Strongly disagree.
Okay.
It depends on the game.
yeah.
What was the first? Hints? A
Yeah.
hint is fine.
Hints,
I
paying
know.
to be
Hints
better.
is
or
like
cheats.
this part. It's like it was an
basically saying,
adventure
like,
game. Like, yes, give me
It's-
some hints.
Yeah, it's pretty much saying a win is a win no matter what it takes. However
Yeah.
you have to get it,
No,
cheating, whatever.
it's
Strongly agree.
I strongly disagree.
It's like so specific to each game too.
Yeah.
I think any means necessary is. I strongly disagree.
Yeah. Strong
Yeah.
disagree.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like a lag switch.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. Agree. No, wait. Strongly agree.
Strongly agree.
Yeah.
Is that
I
it?
also just like
The rest of the items are pretty pedestrian. I consider myself a gamer.
Strongly disagree.
middle of the
Strongly
road.
disagree.
I'm
Yeah.
undecided.
5, like middle, no opinion.
I play games that encourage me to think.
Middle of the road.
Yeah.
I love talking trash while playing games. with
Strongly
my
agree,
friends.
motherfucker.
Yeah.
Strongly disagree.
Strongly disagree.
I get those cool robot voice
Yeah.
changers. Yeah.
Suck it, motherfucker. You ain't shit.
Get bent.
What are they going to do with that information of like, well, everybody really loves talking trash. We got to make sure that we build that feature into Anthem.
Do you fuck your mama with that mouth?
Eat poo.
Eat a do.
And not even a UV poo.
Question from David. I recently went to a KFC and ordered a large popcorn chicken.
Uh-huh.
Nice.
However,
What a waste.
they actually gave me 2 boxes, one medium and one small.
To make up for the fact that there's very little chicken.
Do you think I was better off like this, or have I been shortchanged on my popcorn chicken?
You're better off like that because now you can eat the medium and then you have the small still in the box, untouched. You can
To
save
throw on the
that.
You
street.
can microwave
Dude,
that.
popcorn
Yeah.
chicken's good.
Yeah, it is. It's
Yeah.
awesome.
I think that box is
There's no more breading than anything.
Yeah, it's the same problem
That's
with
why
chicken
it's
fries.
good.
Good.
No,
That's why it's good.
No,
That's why it's
they don't
good.
go far enough. If it was just the fucking skin, it would be better. I mean that. If KFC sold that, I would buy it. I'm not saying that for a joke.
Skin
Well, I mean, you
the
could just
chicken-
get like pork rinds.
At KFC, I always ate around the chicken and just ate the breading. And like, if they just
I-
made a
I would
bowl of
actually like
breading,
that.
I would
Honestly,
love
not
that.
bad, but just the
It's
idea of
awesome.
buying a like bag of skin chips.
Yeah.
I would love that.
Get
Do they
pork
still-
rinds.
do they
sell
still-
that.
Do they still make the skin sandwich?
What?
The skin sandwich.
Oh,
yeah.
the double down?
Yeah.
No, double
That's
down
different.
is
Double down is
different.
full-on chicken
double
breast,
down is
yeah.
like meat instead of bread.
Right. So you're.
I agree that the skin is very good.
It's
Chicken's,
delicious.
but you would need a very delicate marketing campaign to put that one through.
Oh
of,
no,
like-
that's totally a thing. They totally sell that in Filipino markets. Just bags of chicken skin.
But does it say like fried chicken skin?
Yeah, totally.
It doesn't
that's
have a fun
awesome.
name.
No, just fried chicken skin.
Okay.
Whoa.
I'll get you a bag, Dan.
Please, thank you so much.
Is it like dehydrated like a chip, or is it just
fried
like
chicken
greasy
skin.
and fried chicken
Yep.
skin?
Is it like
Wow.
fresh or like how do you reheat it once you get home?
You just eat it out of the bag, even if it's
Just
room
wet
temp.
and greasy.
Yep.
Yeah.
What would you call that though, Jane? What would you call that if you had to market that in a KFC kind of way?
Oh, I don't know. The place that sells in South City is called Crispy Town.
Ooh.
That's a good name. That's a
appropriate
good name.
Yeah, come to Crispy Town.
Exactly, come to Crispy Town.
Crispers.
KFC leans into
KFC
the
Crispers.
KFC
Okay,
Crispers.
that's pretty good.
They
Chicken
lean
chips.
into the unhealthy stuff now. Because remember, they
Chicken
tried
chips.
to change it to
Now.
kitchen fresh chicken, and then they tried because they wanted to make it, grilled chicken, it's healthy. And they're like, well, people hated that. And so they're like, KFC, it's just an acronym. It doesn't mean anything.
Yeah.
And then they just like, that didn't work either. And then they leaned into it. It's like, it's unhealthy. Shut up, eat it. You like it. Which is the way they need to
shut
go.
up.
Here's
Eat
a
it,
bowl
you
of
like
every food we make all in one place.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so mashed
Yeah.
potatoes and
Dude, that's the best thing.
The famous
Isn't-
bowl, it's awesome. Yeah.
I've never had one.
It's so good.
that was my entire
That's what we make our
childhood,
Thanksgiving dinner now. It's
Oh,
just
yeah?
a big ass like
That's awesome.
Thanksgiving famous bowl. It's amazing.
That's awesome.
So we ate like that every Sunday growing up, so that's kind of old hat for
at
me.
the KFC.
No, I mean like legit.
Oh,
Home
Like
style.
made at home. The takeout.com attempted to make a legitimate KFC skinwich.
Ooh,
And I have a picture of it
Okay,
here. It is
doesn't
just
look
a
bad.
giant stack of chicken skin in a bun.
Whoa.
Yeah, I'd eat that.
Needs more cheese, but yeah.
It does
Chicken's
look,
It's
good
like
though.
chicharrones.
Chicken's
Chicken's
I
good.
know
good.
the meat part is
inside
good.
is good.
Yeah.
I would eat that and then get a stomach ache and be hungry later because it's just you're eating grease.
Mm-hmm.
let's continue to talk about food leading into lunchtime.
Yes.
Cody from Roswell, New Mexico. What are your thoughts on burrito rice? I, like most of New Mexico, think it is trash filler. The only place that does that crap here is Taco Bell. Every place else puts actual stuff that goes inside burritos. Thanks for your time.
I mean, I like
like
rice.
it.
but-
Yeah.
I think you can get rice in a Chipotle burrito.
Yeah,
yeah, it's
absolutely.
That's
Yeah.
bad. though.
standard.
I love that.
Yeah, their rice is
Their rice
it's
is
like
I
cilantro,
love
Chipotle
it.
cilantro
double
white
cilantro.
rice.
Yeah.
Ugh.
I get the brown.
I like the brown
Use
rice.
burritos.
Is
Brown
yeah,
rice
I
is still bad in a burrito. You need like Mexican rice in a burrito.
Yeah.
I don't want to
prefer
distract
this.
from the
Yeah.
cheese.
I'm fine with really any kind of rice, but Mexican rice is the ideal burrito rice.
true.
And then I'll settle for a
Yeah.
different rice.
There
I don't
are
mind rice.
there are really
burrito.
good burritos with no rice, like La Taqueria.
Yeah.
Throw some fries in that bad boy.
Oh yeah.
I feel
That
like
can
it's
be
more
good.
the ratio that I care about. If it's all rice and like barely any meat,
Yeah.
then we're gonna have an issue.
Yeah,
But you want the
we're
good
gonna have a problem
balance.
I want the 4 food groups in a burrito: a meat, beans, cheese, and rice.
Yeah.
That's
yes.
I want
Correct.
no beans because beans are gross. But otherwise, yeah.
Beans are fun.
I like
Beans are
beans.
great.
the,
Hey,
the
pinto.
texture is gross.
Well, there are different kinds of beans.
Yeah,
But
there's
I
different
don't know.
textures.
They're all like pasty and icky.
I like it.
I'll usually go for
You're
just-
pasty and icky.
Wow.
Thank you.
How dare you talk about beans
Oh,
that
man,
way?
Thank you so much.
What a
I love
delicious
beans.
burrito. I will usually just not get the meat, and I will once in a while I'll get like a veggie burrito. Yeah,
Oh.
like just beans
Okay.
and vegetables and stuff. But when I get meat, it's like a special treat because a meat
okay.
burrito is still pretty good.
Yeah.
Actually, I think I'll eat anything in a burrito wrap up. So
Yeah,
Like a-
honestly,
like a
I like
poop
all
that's been
kinds
smeared
of
out?
maybe it's
Really?
been UV
Okay,
treated?
yeah.
yeah,
A UV treated poo.
yeah.
I can't get down with potatoes, like fries,
Oh,
whatever. It's
I
too
love
much.
it. I love it.
I like them in a breakfast
Well,
burrito,
so-
but I want them. The ratio I want it to be like low.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah,
Yes.
the thing
I
about
don't want,
California burrito,
Like hash browns, maybe in a breakfast burrito.
Sure.
Not big chunks of potato.
I want
Yeah,
it to be
it does.
as,
The texture is a little
crispy.
like weirdly soft and
Yeah.
dry.
Yeah, I don't want
And-
like a mushy potato
Yeah.
in there.
And
I
it's
want
too much
if
filler.
it's like very thin fries that are
Yeah.
crispy in there.
A little crunch.
Or how about just dump some Fritos in there? Let's have some
Dude.
fun.
Yeah.
Fritos are always good
Yep.
in everything.
Yeah.
Frito pie.
Yeah, I'll put wrap whatever you want in a burrito. I'm good. Peanut butter and jelly.
I got this empty
Right.
can.
It's
I do
fine.
that.
Great. Put tortilla around
Good
it.
crunch.
I'm good to go.
Curtis in Renton, Washington. Question for the assembled producers and anyone else with an idea, of course. If you were given a blank check to purchase a crazy expensive piece of equipment for your respective studios, what would it be? It doesn't
One
need,
piece.
It doesn't need to be something you'd use all the time. Maybe just something for fun. Just curious what sort of tech you all would love to get your hands on for
One
Can
production.
I answer for both of you?
Assume your
Okay.
studio would be
Yes.
big enough
All
to
of-
handle
is it a
any
studio?
equipment.
I know it.
It's a bigger studio.
Mine
It's a
was
bigger
a
studio.
I don't
green
think-
screen
yeah.
room.
I don't think that's quite in
That-
the spirit of
I
the
know,
question.
but that's
I want
what
that gaff
I
tape
want.
roller
Oh.
where you just kind of push it and it just rolls out gaff tape.
that's
Hell
really
yeah.
it.
I wish
That's
I
your
was-
big unlimited
No,
budget.
I
pie in the
want
sky that
Gaff
just
tape
tapes
is
over?
so
bad.
fucking expensive.
I want
Okay,
to.
well, does it come with unlimited tape?
I would
Sure.
hope.
Okay, well that's better. So you gotta,
I think I would. Aside from a giant studio, I would want every wall to be video screens, wall to wall, and the most expensive ones that don't throw off heat. So it'd
Yeah.
be whatever
OLEDs.
whatever it is, OLEDs that we can make those walls. It doesn't even have to be a
Just
green
imagining
screen.
us like lit from every angle, like
Well, yeah. So
Be
it'd
totally
be,
disinfected though.
it'd
Yeah.
be very because I just want to put like camera shots up there, gameplay up there.
That'd be
It could
cool.
be a green screen up there. So I think that's the floor, the ceiling. Basically,
awesome.
make the holodeck.
Okay.
If I could.
Hell yeah.
Just the ramp of Monday Night Raw.
In a
Oh,
tiny
the
studio.
SmackDown,
It's
the
all
SmackDown
screens now.
fist.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jen, what do we need? I'll put it on CapEx.
I want a mobile studio. We take it everywhere. We
Mhm.
take the show on the road.
So an RV.
Just wear it on our
Yep.
back.
Yep, exactly.
Okay.
We're switching to IRL streaming from
Uh,
everyone's perspective.
Done. They make those.
Yeah,
They make
everyone gets a
those.
backpack.
I just want a green
Backpack for
screen.
everybody. I just
I
want
would
that gaff
I would
tape
want a
roller.
custom. I would tell somebody to make a custom thing for me. It is you plug it in. You plug in HDMI to it. It pushes out SDI analog audio. Has an Ethernet jack on there for NDI. Is affordable. Is powered by USB. Can daisy chain together. Has multiple ins and outs. And that's basically it.
Size of a credit card as well.
size of a credit card.
So the last piece of studio equipment you'll ever need.
Yeah, well, no, until the format changes. But
Yeah.
it's an upgradable thing. It's modular.
There you go. Sean,
You don't have to bend over with the thing.
Yeah.
You just keep
You just
rolling
keep
it.
rolling
You
the
push
tape.
it like a
Okay.
broom.
Oh,
That
wow.
thing is rad. By
That's
the way.
amazing.
Yeah.
I wish I had more need for it, but we can only use pieces of gaff tape.
I
that are
would
about this,
fuck-
about
I'd
the size
gaff
of my
tape
finger.
everything with that thing.
Oh, we'd
Just
push
because I
it
could.
a foot, and then we'd hit the wall of our studio.
Yeah.
Is gaff tape what a gaffer does?
The
No.
gaffer will gaff things.
Is that one of the things a
they-
gaffer does?
They secure things.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
gaff tape would be used for securing
I
things.
see.
You don't want
Okay.
things falling over on your set.
Gaffing is
Hey, what a gaff!
Yeah, what a gaff.
okay. The job description of a
There's-
gaffer includes, but is not limited to gaffing.
Yes.
Okay.
They fix the lights.
I see. Sean from Toronto. Is KK Slider a Vocaloid?
No.
He doesn't
mean-
say words.
And Vocaloid's like a specific thing.
Is that like Hatsune?
Yes.
Yes.
No,
Go
I-
on.
no.
Yeah, no, go on.
Say the
Hatsune Mitsu?
That's close.
She loves
Okay.
leaks.
It's not bad.
Okay. Is she a Vocaloid?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
She's the famous one, right?
Yeah.
Like Vocaloid is a program.
Are there other famous ones?
I don't know.
I mean,
Can you
there.
buy tickets to her concerts?
Sometime.
Yeah.
I don't know
Yes.
if are they bringing her around. She played in the U.S. last year. I
Yeah,
thought.
she
Yeah.
played in San
She's
Francisco.
I feel like I've
last
seen
year.
like her holograms at like Comic Cons and
Yeah.
stuff.
She was like she
Well,
was in deep
well,
with
she was on
Dominoes for a while.
David
Yeah.
Letterman as well.
Really?
That app
Like
that app doesn't
Toyota?
work
Yeah.
anymore.
That's a real bummer.
I
That's a
know.
real shame.
Was she doing like Toyota ads for a while?
Oh, really?
I think.
Dominoes is
You
cheap.
cannot
Yeah.
you cannot buy the
I want
Hatsune Miku
Dominoes.
Vocaloid anymore. They don't sell it anymore.
She's gonna play the Super Bowl in 3 years.
She's too exclusive.
Yeah.
And by play of the Super Bowl, it's just gonna be Hatsune Miku versus Hatsune Miku on the field.
Yeah.
I mean, if you want me to watch the Super Bowl,
The
that'd be
Miku
one way to
Bowl.
do it. Yeah.
yeah.
Richard from Newfoundland writing in to let you know that the other day I said WrestleMania instead of WrestleMania.
Good.
Mhm.
The
So-
branding's working.
So I got to wondering if there was a wrestling skinned Metroidvania.
Oh, man.
Who would be the main character? What abilities would they learn to gain access to new parts of the map? And who would the boss character?
You'd fight
It's
Vince.
Guacamelee.
You fight Vince.
That's Guacamelee already
Vince
exists.
is the bad guy?
Because
Vince would be the
Yeah.
Dracula.
What is a man?
Yeah.
because he's immortal.
Man.
Right.
Yes. The main, would he be Cena?
Sure.
I guess are we going with current WWE product or are we going across all of time?
Open to interpretation.
They would probably want you to play as Cena. Well,
With,
they're phasing him
with
out
Death,
now. You could be
it-
Seth Rollins.
Death, who is kind of his Dracula's right hand man in most games, would be like a
That'd be
Triple
Pat
H
Patterson.
or-
Well,
okay.
recently it'd be Triple H.
Yes.
Yeah, it would be Pat Patterson.
All right, I'm spent.
All right.
Yeah.
Yes.
You play as Ekniv, which would be Vince backwards.
Right.
Okay.
and
Just
you-
Shane.
I mean, he is the best in the world.
Yeah, that is true. He's the best wrestler in the world.
And you'd instead of a stake through the heart, you'd have to make him sneeze, right?
Yeah. It's
So
odd
you-
in public, yeah.
Yeah, right
Yeah.
in public, because then he would.
And he would
all his
sleep for
power
more.
would be- his
He would
power
sleep for
be-
more than 2 hours. Finally, yeah.
And his wrestling ring would come back every 1,000 years.
Yeah.
and
The inverted wrestling ring is
they have had to have had that already.
They've never had an upside down one.
Really?
They had a match in the back of a semi truck. They've had like exploding rings, not WWE, but not inverted. They've had the ropes all fall off, and you have to
Yeah.
fight in a ring with no ropes.
Could you imagine? Okay, it's upside down. The wrestling ring's upside down, and you're locked into these boots that are just magnetized to the ring.
face-off boots.
Yeah, exactly. And your goal is to unhinge the other person's boots so they fall.
Murder them?
It's kind of like a scaffold match.
yeah,
they've
it's
kind of done
a
that.
scaffold match. Yeah, it's like Jim Cornette would probably fall off that thing and hurt himself real
Yeah.
bad.
Yeah.
So would items in this WrestleMania be things?
You'd get the brass knucks. You would get the belt,
Kendo stick.
kendo sticks, really flimsy trash cans and cookie trays, fire extinguishers,
We still haven't said steel chair. But
steel chairs, but
Yeah.
you can only hit in the back.
okay.
Tables.
What do you find when you break the wall?
When you break the wall, you find
Creatine.
yeah,
Ico Pro.
Yeah, Ico Pro.
yeah, like HGH that doesn't show up on tests.
What abilities do you get to traverse?
Oh yeah.
Small package.
Rope breaks.
Irish whips.
Nut shots.
You start with an Irish whip.
Oh, you're right.
Oh
you're
yeah,
right.
yeah. You play as Fit Finley with an Irish whip. He
Hornswoggle.
loves to fight. Yeah, Hornswoggle, right? That's if you beat the game. Yeah.
This is a briefcase hanging from a ceiling. You got to find a step ladder
Mm-hmm.
to go get it.
Yep,
And the music would be a lot worse.
It'd all be like Alter Bridge or something.
Where would the Undertaker fit in? Would he be a boss?
Yeah.
He's the one thing they don't have to change.
He could be like an Alucard good
He
guy.
can just show up at the beginning and steal all your abilities. Like he's the post abilities.
And just kind of vanish?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Him and Kane are just right there, just normal.
But then Kane just becomes a mayor halfway through.
Yeah.
Who's the vendor?
The vendor is Mean Gene?
Todd Grisham.
Oh, me, Gene.
Aaron from Ontario. Does nobody on staff go by their full legal name? Is it just Jason who does? Is Jan short for anything? Why do you all hate your names?
Mine's my full legal name.
Is it?
Mine's Jason Opley. I don't know.
I've never gone by Daniel. I've done
Mine
Danny.
might be my full legal
Damn.
name, and I'm not going to tell people one way or the other.
Okay.
Oh,
All right.
They can fuck off.
Okay.
I use Vincent.
Yeah.
Okay.
Jan Jerome is a mouthful. So Jan's just easier.
It's a pretty good mouthful.
I had to say
though.
that when I'm mad at him.
Yeah.
Which is
That
never
is
been
yes.
so
That is
far.
definitely that's my answer.
But
is
the
that-
day that I'm like, Jan Jerome!
Yes.
Watch out.
My answer is that when I got Bradley as a kid, it was because I fucked up.
Oh.
My parents have never called me Jan.
Yeah.
They only call me Jerome. It's weird.
I use Vincent more out here in California because when people hear Vinny, they immediately launch into weird things about the Sopranos. And my cousin Vinny.
Yeah.
But in New York,
And you just stop and go, you are a racist.
I say, excuse me, it's Vincent, but thank you. But in New
Like
York,
D'Onofrio. You might have heard of him.
yeah, yes. In New York, they just say, "Hi, my name is Angelo," or Tony. Nice to meet you.
And you leave it at that.
And we say, "Nice to meet you."
It's okay when you say it.
Yeah, I say,
Kevin from Alberta. It isn't really the holidays until Jeff brings up the Terminator 2 argument.
It's a tradition.
Yeah, well.
Dan wore the shirt.
Dressed
today.
for the occasion.
I did not know we had this email, but I did wear a Terminator shirt.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, it's-
What are the
A
chances?
Terminator 1 shirt.
You had a
Yeah.
1 out of 5 chance.
Wait,
so
have you changed sides?
No, I think they're both fantastic.
Terminator
movies.
heel turn?
I have gained my appreciation for Terminator 1 in recent years. I have lessened my opinion of Terminator 3 over the years, and my opinion of Terminator 2 is still that it is a perfect movie.
How do you feel about the fact that Cameron and all the people doing the new Terminator have declared everything after 2 doesn't exist anymore?
That's fine. Like
that's real.
I enjoy scenes in Terminator 3. He's got a coffin on his shoulder and he's shooting a minigun. That's just objectively super cool. The fire truck scene's cool, but like I'm not gonna act like Terminator 3 is a great movie. I'm fine with 1 and 2 being the only canonical ones. I don't know about that new one, even though I think it's awesome. Linda Hamilton is coming back as Sarah Connor. I think Cameron is producing
He's producing it.
I just
he
don't.
might have co-written it or something.
Okay, I just don't really trust any Terminator thing post 2 to be good.
They
So
should have stopped after 2.
yeah, like I know that Sarah Connor Chronicles people liked on TV, but like I don't know, I just can't. 1 and 2. That's all I
That
really
thing
need
gets
for now.
weird. I got into reading, like, I didn't watch it, but I got into like reading wiki shit about it and looking at YouTube clips and stuff. And like, there's a part where they regrow a Terminator's skin in the bathtub and like all kinds
to
of.
fry it,
Cool.
it's
That thing,
delicious.
that thing gets
yeah.
strange.
I'm fine with just those first 2. I'll see the new one. I've seen them all.
Yeah.
Genesis is one of the worst action movies I've ever seen in my life. It is so bad.
Pretty bad.
Which is the one when,
Unbelievably
like, was it John Connor comes back again?
That's so there's 3, then there's Salvation, which is the one where Christian Bale plays John
Yeah.
Connor. That one's just kind of boring.
Right.
And then there's Genesis, which is the one where like John Connor's
Connor
a robot now
uses
or
the
something,
Terminator.
and it's
Yeah,
just the
okay,
dumbest
that's-
thing in the
yeah.
world.
Nanomachine, son.
Yeah.
And they try to shove in like a new T-1000, and like
God,
it's just
dude.
that movie's trying so many things
just
and
like-
none of it works.
Yeah.
Is that the one with the fake Arnold too?
No,
Yes.
that's Salvation.
That's
At the end of
Salvation,
Salvation, they have the kind of like CG Arnold.
No, there's totally a
Wait,
CG Arnold
yeah,
in Genesis.
isn't there a factory where the Arnolds all come out in Genesis?
I don't know, but like real Arnold is definitely in Genesis.
Which one has naked Arnold?
No, they
coming out
have
of
they have
factories?
they have CG 80s Arnold in Genesis.
Oh,
Yeah,
right.
remember?
They
they
did.
they time
yeah.
travel back to the
They
opening
fight each
scene.
other, don't
Yes.
they? That's right.
Old Arnold
God.
Terminator fights young Arnold
Yeah.
Terminator at the beginning of Terminator 1.
That movie sucks.
Yeah, just like Metal Gear.
Like, they're trying to stop it all from ever happening.
Like, they literally recast the 3 punks from the first scene of Terminator, and like old Arnold interrupts that scene.
Weird. I
to
forgot
fight,
about that.
to fight the naked young Terminator.
Oh, it sucks.
It's like the problem with like any time travel story that lasts sufficient amount of time. Eventually, they try to fold it back on
Yeah.
itself to try to prevent
It's like Back to the Future 3.
It's
Yeah.
a mess. All right, last email. Sean from Seattle. I'm a sound designer in the game industry and have wanted to write in for a while about audio in games or development or similar topics, but never really had an occasion to do so. I still don't have a great audio or development topic, but this seemed too perfect to pass up. I'm also a furry, a polar bear to be exact, and was excited and a bit confused to see headlines about Violet J attending the world's largest furry convention. Over 10,500 attendees this year. He even has an ICP-themed fursuit that he wore at the con.
He does. I like that the first thought when ICP at a furry convention was like, I've got to write the Bombcast.
Yeah. Apparently his daughter is a furry, and he is very supportive. I think that's fucking rad. Here's a link to the story. It shows videos he took on his phone of the convention and a video of himself in his fursuit. I guess there's not really a question here, but hey, what a world.
I think the thing that I liked even more than this was when he got out there and was saying the daughter had gotten ripped off.
Yeah,
that was amazing.
Was like this? They were the snake busters.
Yeah,
bunch of the
What
snakes
happened?
selling the bullshit fursuits.
So their fursuits are expensive. They're
Right.
very expensive, and she had ordered one, and it was like nothing like they had advertised when she got. And they got
It was
out
made
there.
out of nylon instead of canvas.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly. And all the influencers got the good fursuits. But yeah, so he made a video with her. Basically, it was an
Like calling
adorable
out,
video
yeah.
How
calling
old
him
is his
out.
daughter?
In like tweens
It's like
or
yeah,
teen,
like a teen.
yeah, like
Yeah.
early teens, I think. And it was adorable, like him getting so mad and being like, "What? There's
ripped off by snake busters. You ripped off, but
and she's next to him being like, "It's not what I ordered." It was very cute.
I want to see that video.
I like that shit. You know, it reminds me of like when Britney Spears posts pictures of her kid dressing up like Frieza and just like, you know, it's cool seeing parents supporting
Jamie Lee
their-
Curtis at
Evil,
fighting game
yeah.
events.
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, I think that's great, and I think being able to nurture your kid to enjoy that stuff in a safe, healthy way, not make it weird or make it like a thing you have to run off and go do. I think that's fantastic, and especially for somebody who has made a living. I mean, say what you want about the insane clown posse, and I'm sure people will, but I've heard it's rather inclusive.
Yeah,
They have a certain bent.
Yeah, sure.
Like
yes.
anyone
Yeah.
can run with the hatchet.
Oh, actually, absolutely. If you would like to run with the hatchet,
Yeah.
if you would like to enjoy if you would like to get much motherfucking clown love sent your way,
Whoop whoop.
you can. Yeah, no, that's absolutely.
Did they say woo woo in Britain?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Yes. I changed my mind. One more email. Eric from Louisville, Kentucky. When you're at the dentist, either for a routine cleaning or some devastating corrective carnage, how do you keep your eyes open or closed?
Close.
Oh, I stare right into the doctor's eyes.
I
I
hate
realized
that.
that recently.
I told my wife I keep mine open, and she looked at me as if I were a serial killer.
They put TV on.
Oh, I
that
don't
sounds
have
nice.
that.
Oh, really?
So,
My dentist has like a TV up above that's
No.
always on some fucking
Smart.
home renovation
Oh.
shit. And it's like I don't watch it, but I just stare at it and just glaze over. It is blurred out. I'm just like, ugh.
yeah, I think for me, I realized because usually they have the protective goggles, which is reflective, so I can see what they're doing to my mouth. So I stare at the reflection, but I
never gotten
realize I'm
goggles
just
before.
looking right into their eyeballs.
Yeah, I do the same.
Who gets
Yeah.
goggles?
Yeah, mine doesn't. My dentist doesn't
Well,
wear goggles.
They got like a whole splash suit for me, I guess.
Well,
No, I close them. Just go. in.
Really?
I do
Yeah.
a bit of
I,
both. Like,
I
I'll
want to know.
close them and open
I
them.
want to know what's going on.
Yeah,
I know,
I do
I
too,
like
but I don't want to
seeing-
see exactly. Like,
Yeah.
Wait, but you're just looking at their face.
Yeah, but I need to be aware.
Oh,
Not
really?
me.
Yeah. Just in
Look,
case.
they're
You
already
gotta
in
see
my
it, they're like,
mouth. They gotta
"Whoa."
fucking
Yeah.
deal with me
Yeah.
looking at them.
I don't know.
Dan, you look confused.
I'm trying to think of what I do, and I think I'm just too consumed with the feeling of dread to even know what any part of my body is doing,
Yeah.
other than my
Black
hands
out.
just like gripping the sides, even like during a cleaning. Just
I used to go to a dentist town here. I think Ryan turned me on to this guy who would basically provide nitrous on request for anything.
oh, that's good.
They also had a bunch of this was years ago. They had a bunch of iPods there
Oh, cool.
with like Pink Floyd and shit on them. They're
Yeah.
like, hey, if you just want to get gassed and
Yep.
listen to Floyd while we do
That's
this,
I've
Yeah,
done that
great.
to like
Here
Steve
you
Miller
go.
Band.
Can I just
Yeah,
hang out
sounds
and
alright.
not
Yeah.
do stuff to my
Yeah.
teeth? Can we
Yeah.
just like do
I
this?
think I've got another cavity.
yep,
I
your lunch
missed.
break.
it was a good time.
I missed a dentist appointment and then didn't reschedule one, and I feel like that's how it happens. And
Yeah.
now it's been like almost a year.
I need to go. It's been too
It was
long.
scheduled. It's because it was scheduled during. Cause, you make them like 6 months in advance. I'm like, yeah, sure, whatever. Who cares? And you're like, oh, that's during Game of the Year. Of course, I can't go to that. And then didn't reschedule, and now here we are.
I had
It's
one that
been-
always like asked me questions, like tried to talk to me when they've got like
Oh, yeah,
instruments
yeah.
in my mouth.
Why
and shit.
did
It's
they
like, what,
do
what,
that?
They're
what
just
is-
fucking with you. They're trying to have some fun.
God damn it! Run. What?
Yeah.
Ugh.
I remember
Oh.
once when my sister was about to go to college, she was getting worked, and like the dentist asked, like, "What are you going to study? What do you want to do?" Right as they like went to go into her
Yep.
mouth, and my dad was like, "She wants to be a dentist," which is not true at all.
That's funny.
And the dentist like, "Yay!"
That's
like doing her
good.
teeth.
I like that.
That's pretty good.
That's funny.
Okay, thanks to everyone who wrote in to bombcast@giantbomb.com. Thank you, everyone from New York, for being here.
Thanks for
Thank
having
you
us.
for
Yeah.
having us.
Fantastic show. I have a lot of fun.
It's been a good time.
Yeah.
we will be back to the grindstone shortly after this on the Game of the Year stuff. So I guess things on the site will continue to
Got
be
a couple of things we're looking to get done here this
a
week.
couple games coming out.
Yeah, we probably won't get to Just Cause until next week.
Right.
When we get back, some other stuff like I had mentioned, Mutant Year Zero, I'd like to play, but I don't know if
a few
I'll be
games
able
coming
to
out
check that
still
out.
throughout December. So we will check those out where possible. And then stay tuned for all the Game of the Year stuff popping off at the end of the month.
Mm-hmm.
No after show today.
No after show today. We were originally going to do it, and then some scheduling stuff happened, and we will be back with that next week as well.
Yep. Stay tuned for that. And a bunch of other stuff coming up. It's been fun. Thanks for being here. We'll see you next week. Bye.